Oh, you guys are here already? Shit. Sorry. Had to go get my shirt on, you know what I'm saying? All right. What's going on? What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Lefty Live. We're going to have a special guest in, 15 minutes or so. Cheers to all you mofos out there. Hope you're having a good night. Hope you're having a good week. Let's see. Mind of Milton. What's up, man? How's it going? L Cap Addict. What's up, dude? Ace. Colby Venable. What's going on, guys? Marco's in the house. Pretty Fly is here. Paul Mills, channel member. Get your fireworks, baby. Said Stevie doesn't deserve these fireworks. The pickle-loving man himself is here. Everybody, give a warm welcome to Said Stevie. Send your pickle love his way. Paul, I think I just got you 2 seconds ago. That's how quick it falls out of this memory. Stone Hands, what up, dude? Let's see, who else is here? A black belt douche. Talking about me? Funny thing is, we've had some, events transpire since Monday. Sadly, couldn't do a live stream instantly. So it's not as dramatic as it would have been Monday when Roll and I were hammering back and forth in a group chat. Nick, what up, dude? Channel member. Here's your fireworks, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Oh, there's Mike. New channel member. Mikey, my boy. My local brother. Joseph, what up, dude? Channel member as well. Get your fireworks. Crazy Roach. What up, dude? Channel member. In the house. Nuts for Knives is here. Can you suck it? What the hell? Oh, that's great. Copper Light, what up, dude? How's it going, man? I hope you're having a good day. Hey, look, I'm always behind, but it's your fault because you guys start the comments before the live even starts. So I'm behind just right off from the get-go. It makes it tough. What's going on? Hey, everyone. I'm going to be biking home while listening to the entirely reasonable and well-mannered debate. I don't know how much of a debate it'll be, but it'll be fun. I've been meaning to have Roll on. David Von Steenberg. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Let's get ready to rumble. I missed that guy, man. Remember that movie, Ready to Rumble? With, what was that guy's name? I can't remember. I always liked that guy, though. Let's see. Real 210, what up, dude? Todd Carr, channel member. What up, Todd? That reminds me, Todd, I think I got 2 of your things here. You're waiting on one more, maybe? Let me know on that. Shoot me an email, dude. Maybe I only got one. No, I think I got Big Red and Javon. Yeah. Let me know if there was another one. I feel like you said 3, but could be wrong. Kyle Coonley, what up? A stream I can nerd out on. Hell yeah, dude. Dogs are out there fucking going ham. My wife's putting my daughter to bed. I'm in here, so they're left to their own devices. So they just rampage the upstairs hallway. Let's see. I miss anybody? Neville, what's up, dude? What's up, Neville? Since Neville's a flashlight guy, I got my DC1 on me. Oklahoma DC1. I got the dragon in here because I'm a Targaryen, baby. I'll just blind y'all ass. That's what I'm going to do to Roll. Like, boom! Just blind his ass. Speak of the devil. Looks like he's here. Yo, what up, dude? What's cracking?
How's it going, Kev? How's it
Chilling,
going,
man.
Lefty live stream?
Got the sound effects going? Hell yeah, dude.
I'm always extra, but you know this.
So if some of you guys don't know, this is RollShamboEDC. He's got a YouTube channel. He likes to sharpen shiny things. I always expect him to say sharp and pointy, and then shiny comes out, and I'm like, oh yeah, right. So
well, I also like knife finishes that are, well, that's actually not a good example. That is shiny. I was gonna say I like bead blast.
Oh, we should have that argument, dude. Bead blast?
You don't like bead blast?
No.
Why not?
Because I rust the shit out of it instantly.
You see, you wouldn't if it was 14C.
Yes, I probably still would. I've rusted M390 that's been bead blasted. I've rusted N690 that's bead blasted.
Really?
Obviously D2. I don't know why anybody in their right fucking mind would bead blast D2, but it's basically like the way bead blast works is it opens up pores in the steel where like a stone wash fills them in or whatever. So you get better corrosion resistance with a stone wash and worse with a bead blast, as I understand it.
That makes sense. I just like how
satin's like kind of in the middle. I guess it just, I don't know.
Sure.
Somebody
I just like how smooth it is, man. Like, I don't know about you, but every time I have to break in a knife, like I always pray that I don't spend like the next 3 weeks breaking in a knife to find out how good the action is. And bead blast always has a really smooth break-in period. It feels like the action is always perfect right out of the box.
It makes some sense. Belt satin would be probably on the worst end of that because you have to get through the. It also depends on the knife. If you're talking about a softer or a not so wear-resistant steel, it'll break in faster. So if you got like 8CR, you can break that in 5 minutes. But MagnaCut, it might,
So, for example, this is
they never break in, dude.
But it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the finish, though. Like I took this apart because I wanted to see if I could figure out why the action is not as good as a lot of people. And I don't know if I should say good.
I've had like 20 of them, dude. None of them. They never get that buttery. Like I don't know. It's weird.
It's the pivot. It's the pivot is so tightly. The tolerance with the pivot. If you check it out, like it's so tight in that blade hole. It's so tight. And I mean, generally speaking,
because you don't have it. Well, the other reason is that knife has a deep ass hollow grind and a blade window. So it ends up being super light on the whole bottom end of it, where when you have a knife with a heavier front area or more material, it'll drop faster because it has weight. It's like a pendulum thing. So,
yeah, I don't know. I always notice though on like Damascus blades, right? Because it's got the pattern that's been acid etched out. The action on Damascus blades always takes a minute to break in.
Damascus?
Yeah.
The only Damascus knife, ironically, is Concept just sent me this AGI.
Oh, nice.
Otherwise, I pretty much the lock bar exists. I pretty much stay away from Damascus, but this feels pretty normal.
It's hard to trust, right? Like we can't even get good heat treats out of these knife manufacturers. What's in the secret herbs and spices?
Right.
What's in the 42? What's in
Damasteel is another whole thing. Like at least with Damasteel,
right.
I think it's a 154 base, like CPM 154.
Is it Damasteel or Damacore that has the RWL 34?
I always get the same thing. CPM 154 RWL. Pretty sure they're the same steel. These are 9CR base, I believe. So that's why they're in the same price as the regular ones in S35. I don't. You probably didn't see the when I started the live, but I did that on purpose. I came in the door late and took off my hoodie so I could show off my steel shirt.
Oh man, you know what?
Ironically, guess what's not on here?
I got
Guess what is on here, and guess what is not on here.
Right.
I don't know
what
he meant that list to mean, but I think he just put steels on it, not like,
like, I don't know. I've never seen SM100 on a knife. Maybe I'm just a plebe, but
I never heard of it until this shirt, and then I Googled it. So
yeah, I
don't know.
I think people want to know, is S30V a super steel?
Dude, all right. So we kind of settled this on Monday when I did Casey's live stream, because we looked on Knife Steel Nerds.
Right.
And I think we could all kind of agree Laren would be the authority on the matter, I guess. At least
like
on
the
steel,
only authority.
And he basically says that the definition of super steel, or the category of super steel, shifts with time, kind of like what you were saying, where to me, if it was a super steel, it is a fucking super steel. Like, that's just how I would look at it. S30V was like literally the quintessential super steel, in my opinion.
But then at that point, you'd have to call 440 a super steel too.
But I don't remember ever hearing that being called a super steel. So that's why, for me, that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because maybe there's some old heads here who remember that. I don't think people use the term the way we do now until probably like YouTube got popular and a bunch of dorks like us were making videos and calling things super steels,
Well, for me, me, I tend to overthink things. That's just who I am. I go down these tangent rabbit holes that keep me up till like 2 a.m. talking to you in the chat about whether or not it's a super steel. But if you look at the numbers, right, like we say that we'll let Laren be the expert because he's probably the only authority that is well known in what we do and widely accepted.
Yeah.
And if you look at his knife steel ratings, I showed you a little bit of this. I want to say it was yesterday.
Yeah. Do you have a web page or something where you can pull it up?
So that's actually something that I could probably do a screen share on here.
Yeah, you get asked to share and then I can approve it or whatever, I think. I don't think I can just give you free
It's
reign.
a Google Doc.
If it's a web page, it should be shareable.
Hold
or
on.
send me a link and I can pull it up, unless it's like your Google Doc.
I'll send it to you on Instagram.
All right. Looks like Casey has been a member for 6 months. I want fireworks. There you go, sir. And we got a gifted membership from Illuminati. I got to give him the rock and roll.
I don't have any fireworks over here. Does it work if I do it?
Do you have do you use no, you're fancy. You have a fucking camera set up and all that shit. What's your take on the raid drama?
Ooh.
Yeah, I have that. I actually made notes. I have that written down because it's an interesting topic. We were talking to Sharif earlier in the same group that this all S30V shit all started. We always get all the fun drama shit in there. So yeah, we'll talk about that a little later if I don't want to get too distracted. There's one other. Knives Are Life is a new member. I gotta get some of your sound effects so I can do rock music.
Hold on. You know what? We can make this happen. If you give the fireworks, I'll hit it with the
Wait, you don't have like Metallica, do you?
No, I could actually take.
Yeah, there you go. VG10 over 154 cm all day. You, sir, are just so wrong.
I was gonna say I don't know if I could agree with that. VG10 is basically, it's pretty close to D2, I think.
Can hear my kid crying over there. She doesn't want to go to sleep. She never wants to go to sleep.
Hey, what's up, Sharif? Good to see you, man.
RWL 34 and PCM 27, something like that for Damascus. I don't even know what PCM 27 is.
All right. You know,
G-Ball 14C is a super steel. We know he loves
I'm
it.
talking about. You know, I agree with that. And,
Dude, there's hold on. There's, so if S30V, if your argument is it's not a super steel anymore, is that your argument anymore, or it just never was?
Anymore.
Okay.
Anymore. And I'll say this.
I wish we would have clarified that at the beginning of the whole argument, because it would have ended probably right there.
It went on for so long, man. Here's the deal. It is 100% based on recency, because when S30V was made, M390 had already been out, but it hadn't been widely used in knife steels. Like everyone.
Was it out on cutlery or just out in general?
Well, so out in cutlery, because most steels that we see in knives, rather, they weren't first made for
S30V
knives.
was.
S30V was, S45VN,
14C.
S35. Those are all Chris Reeves steels, right? M390 was made for the plastics industry, much like S90V. Right. So those steels were built to be used by industry for cutting stuff at an industrial level. That's why the edge retention is so high.
Not wearing out.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be super hard because it's plastic it's cutting. It's not cutting steel or metals or whatever.
Right. So S30V, when it came out, was fantastic because it was good for knife steels. Like that was during the era when D2 was being, highly touted as a good knife steel.
Right.
And so when you compare S30V to D2, of course it's a super steel. But the more knife steels we start to incorporate into this, we see knife steels like S90V used to be a boutique steel. Now we're seeing it widely used.
What's up,
we used to see what's the one I'm thinking of? VG10 was highly used. Then we have S35, S45.
Well, S45 is only like a couple years old, actually.
Right. But that's my point.
It quickly, they made it. I think it was almost like we had this in the works, and then it came out right when MagnaCut came out. MagnaCut was like, bitch, sit down. And then they all switched right to MagnaCut because Chris Reeve literally worked on S45 for their own shit. And then they were like, oh, fuck. Like, MagnaCut's good. We're going to use that.
The big problem everyone had with S30 was how chippy it was. Spyderco. God bless Spyderco. I love Spyderco. They do an amazing job on their heat treats on just about damn near everything. But the one complaint with Spyderco S30V, it tends to be chippy, especially if you sharpen your knife a lot. So nowadays, absolutely not. S30V is what I would consider to be a premium steel. And yes, I just made that up, but super steel itself is a made up term. Like there's no scientific term for what is a super steel.
We learned this. Well, it's obvious, but
I think everybody,
it's all personal preference. But I think that there is a consensus that S30V was a super steel.
Please don't quote the polls.
To me now, I get it. Like S30V definitely is not a top tier steel, but in my mind, it was a super steel at one point. So I'm not just gonna demote it down. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like MagnaCut, Van X, those should be like mega steels, and we can keep super steels the way they were. S30V can stay down there with S35 and I don't know, M4, shit like that.
I think that maintaining a status, based on what, nostalgia? Like, come on. I used to love my coffee maker.
It's still as good as it was. Coffee makers now. It's not like the steel changed.
It didn't. But But you can't tell me that S30V is competing with other steels. It's not. the steels that we consider super steels, the S90V, the M390, M398, MagnaCut, those are super steels because they're steels that far and away outperform other steels.
Steve
S30V is outperforming what?
took a
Budget
big
steels?
Jump on you, dude. Oh. Good one, Steve. Are you looking for a sound effect or a stat? He went off to find a stat real quick. He'll be back. So here's the thing. I like 14C. I think for the price point, I mean, I've used it on the MASH. We've used it on other stuff. It has its place in the budget world. It has its place under 120. Honestly, at this point, under $100, 14C has its place. But once you cross that threshold, it doesn't make that much sense anymore. Like, okay, so take the MASH, for instance. When we did the first runs, we found that when you do a satin finish on 14C, it scratches so easy and it just doesn't look good, like Steve was saying. So in order to like have the nicer finishes, which is what, you know, essentially you're going to pay more for, it's going to make a knife more premium. You got to step past 14C. But if you're just going to coat it, slap it on a fixed blade or an $80 knife, then I think 14C is great. So in my opinion, that makes it absolutely not a super steel. A super steel is something you would put on anything and be happy with, right? Would you agree with that or no? I mean, unless it's like, I need corrosion resistance. That's the top, you know what I mean?
Well,
But
you know, like people... So we talk about the chromium levels. I was just reading this message from Weekend Warrior. He says super steel has nothing to do with the scores or anyone's opinion. It's literally science and has to do with the chromium level in the steel, period.
Yeah, I've heard of that too.
If that's true, I would love to see the if that's true. And I don't, you know, I can't research everything, but if that's true, I would love to see a link for that pop up somewhere.
Who is the one talking? Who is this that just said that?
Weekend Warrior.
There was somebody. It's Brandon Thrasher. He changed his name.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yes.
What's up,
and I remember he was the one talking about this super alloy thing. So, yes, I would also love to see that.
So when I was looking at Laren's website, what I noticed was
8th,
he does mention that it's often used to describe powder metallurgy, stainless steels. So by that definition, you know, is Rex 121, is that a super steel?
Yes, Rex 121 is a monster, dude.
Are you sure?
Am I thinking of the wrong steel? That's the one that can hold an edge forever, right?
Yeah, no, it is literally the steel that has the most. Here, I'll pull it up on my sheet.
Yeah, it's fucking super.
Okay.
Are you basing this off of what he just said about chromium?
So we agreed we let Laren Thomas be the expert on super steels, right? So one of the things he mentions is that it's often used to describe powder metallurgy steels with high edge retention that are stainless. Rex 121 isn't stainless at all. It's got a corrosion resistance score of 3.5. Like
that's where it comes down to personal opinion thing comes in. To me, Rex 121 does something fucking like extraordinary. So it should be considered a super steel.
Right. The problem is that it is 100% based on people's opinion. And I think it's accepted that a steel that is far above other steels is a super steel. S30V is just not far above that many other steels anymore. Like, it's not really outperforming more than what? Budget steels?
Right.
So once it was a super steel.
So the main thing here that we unfortunately did not determine early on was, I thought you were saying S30V isn't a super steel, never was a super steel, whatever, right? Because to me, when I came into the knife world 5 years ago or whatever, S30V 100% was a super steel. Like it was S30V, S35, and then, you know, M390 would be up above that, right? And then you had some tool steels and shit or whatever. So in my mind, it's just etched in there. S30V is a fucking super steel. I will agree that it no longer is one of the higher end steels. Like, I'm trying to get Kuba to use it on our budget knives. You know what I mean?
So question for you, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I've got a memory like an elephant. What steel would you identify as? If you were a super steel, what steel would you be?
Excuse me. Right. Yeah, that was what we were talking about yesterday. I don't know. I think I would just identify as my favorite steel, probably, which would be Vanex. But I don't have a good reason. I'm not ultra corrosion resistant. Well, actually, I can rust anything. So maybe that does correlate. I am Vanex, basically.
Oh man, I would be S90V. S90V to me is one of the most perfect steels. You know, it's not as well rounded as MagnaCut, but it has amazing edge retention. It's got corrosion resistance that's good enough. And it's got decent toughness for as high of edge retention as it has. Like, normally we see a huge trade-off between edge retention and toughness, like Rex 121. Rex 121 is amazing. It's extremely brittle. Same deal with Maximate. S90V is tougher than both of those. Well,
I love S90V. It's probably my favorite, like, steel that I want to put in a knife and then buy on a knife. Next to I just love Vanex, but S90V is pretty. It's just the thing with Vanex is it makes your knife so much more expensive.
Yeah.
That it makes it, it's like a $320 knife is $375 because it's got Vanex on it or whatever. S90V just kind of kills, and now it's relatively affordable too. It's in the same range with M390 and 20CV now. I don't know if it was more before. I feel like it was way less used, but yeah.
Casey says, "Hey, Roll, that sounds like picking a car in Mario Kart, more speed and less handling." Like, you really need it to handle well, though. Like, half the fun of Mario Kart is knocking people off the road.
So does anybody else have what would I call it? I have like MagnaCut. Like, I'm worn out on MagnaCut. It's everybody wants to use it. They want to put it on everything. It's I don't know. Like, it's MagnaCut's the best this. I've had some MagnaCut. I don't know. It's not like it hasn't changed my world or anything. I feel like some of the claims people make are a little bit exaggerated, like edge retention. People make it sound like it's up there with S90V and edge retention. It's just like anything. If you heat treat it to the perfect thing, sure, you could probably get it to cut as long as S90V.
Right.
But now everybody's using it on these Chinese-made knives, and it scares me a little bit because those OEMs are not cooking this thing at 63, 64, and that is really where MagnaCut shines. If you get like Heretic, I asked them when I got their OTF 60 to 61, and I'm like, the science is out there that you need to heat treat this at 63 to 64, and it's like, it's just what we do. It makes the most sense for us. Cool. Then you might as well just fucking put HCR on this thing. Cause, like, I don't know. It's ridiculous. Don't get it. I just don't. I get it on USA made stuff. Totally get it. They want to use US steel, and it's the best option in the US as a US steel, right? So S90V, I guess, is US too. Why does nobody use that? There's a good question. Why don't you see Chris Reeve and Tactile and Koenig and all these fuckers using S90V? Like,
I don't know. That's a great question. And properly
heat treat it, it would be sick, right? That's the beautiful thing about S90V for me, is you can send it to China. That's one of the things about 14C that's good too. You can send it to China and they can heat treat it at 60 to 61, right? 60 to 62, and it's in a optimal range at that point. So you get good 14C at 60. You get good S90V at 60, 61. But they're going to do that to the MagnaCut that you're raving over, and then it's just going to be dog shit.
Well, so what's interesting about MagnaCut, because I have a small series of videos that I put out once every couple of months called Steel Snobs, where I do a bunch of research on a steel. I look at its history. I check out all of Laren's information on it. And so I've actually done quite a bit of research on MagnaCut. The thing about MagnaCut is that you can actually get a proper heat treat on it, and still have a lower Rockwell hardness. But just like with S35 VN, it actually gets tougher at a higher Rockwell hardness.
Right.
They're just choosing not to do that.
There's no point in heat treating it lower. I can't think of a good, you know what it is? It's probably the fact that it's going to be easier to machine at a lower hardness. So they do that. That's why they do it, by the way.
Right.
That's why they don't heat treat every steel to optimal numbers, because they have to mass produce these. They're going to chew through consumables when they're machining these knives. If they, like, when you have one guy making a knife in a shop, or you have, Oz or whatever, they're making a batch of 20 or 50 or whatever, they can chew through those consumables, and then they just charge more for the knife or whatever. But these Chinese OEMs, they're not going to want to do that. Chewing through belts and carbide bits and all this shit that goes in their machines, the harder that steel, or I should say the more wear resistant that steel is, the worse it is on their consumables. So they want to lower that, and they know 95% of the fuckers buying these don't give a shit. So there's no incentive for them to bump it up, unless they're just nerds like Kunwu, like Sergio at Kunwu.
Well, let's level for a minute. If I were to hand,
I agree, Kyle.
If I were to hand 90% of people M390 at say 60 and M390 at 62 HRC, how many people do you think could actually be able to tell the difference between those two steels? Those two heat treats. Like, I don't think most people could. I think the people that could were those who sharpen their knives regularly. But on a steel like that with better edge retention, you're not going to do it enough to be even notice. It can also affect things like the grain structure. So the edge geometry does make a difference in how it cuts. Like, you'll notice I'm sure you've noticed higher Rockwell hardness knives with with a sharp edge, they just cut a certain way. But if you're not paying attention to like that tiny detail, you're not going to notice. Sharif had a comment that I wanted to talk about. He says S30V has better edge retention than MagnaCut, CPM 154, LMAX, LC200N, N690, S35VN, according to Dr. Laren's charts.
60 HRC.
Now, that's the thing though, is all of those steels that Laren tested were at 60, including MagnaCut. So to say that, for example, S30V has better edge retention than MagnaCut is kind of like one of those things where we just have to accept it at 60 HRC. But if you look at cut tests that people have done, like Love Them Knives, he actually has he's got a sheet where he talks about like testing Rockwell hardness and stuff like that. There's other channels. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Cedric and Ada does all the cut tests. MagnaCut at 63 plus is actually really, really good on the edge retention.
Yeah, but what knife was that?
I'd have to pull it up.
It was a one-off. It was like a custom or something, right? So that's a guy who perfected that knife. And that's the thing. That's the difference between a production run of knives and a single custom. Like, in my opinion, every custom knife maker should be using MagnaCut at this point, because of, at least from what I understand, the ease of machining it versus how hard you can get it, and the performance of it basically outdoes anything that CPM 154 did before it, which is what they all use now because it's so easy to work with. That's why they do it. because it's easy to work with for them, which
Right.
granted, they're the ones making the fucking knife. But hold on, I gotta give them the thank you, sir.
Oh man. I can't help it. I'm all about the sound effects.
But yeah, so we're not gonna. I don't think we're all gonna agree on this topic, but
No.
I think we can all say S30B is not a top level steel at this point.
No.
We can agree that it was at one point.
Sure.
Okay, so I think we got somewhere.
It was resolved as much as it was ever going to be resolved.
And I do wonder, is anybody here old enough that 440C was legitimately called a super steel? Like, those words, were those ever used when you were around back in the day? Somebody tell me that, because I don't think it was back then. I know I'm way behind. Sorry, man. Member for 2 months. Well, I hope Kevin Roll have a super night later, dude. Thanks, Deedham. That reminds me, we might as well show a couple knives. I don't know if you saw Caviso and Sharp by Design got together and did a mini Tempest run.
Yeah.
And they pulled some stuff. So, of course, I wanted the 80s camo carbon, but I love the front flipper, but I was curious about the flipper. So I ended up just getting both. And I got them in today. So I got the flipper up top, both drop points.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then I got the front flipper as well. I love the mini Tempest. It's always been one of my favorite knives. But
well, what's your opinion on the fat carbon that they're doing? Because I see a lot of different carbon fibers that come out of China, and it seems like some of them have good depth. Like, for example, on the nip, I love the depth in the purple camo carbon fiber. You're like, how you you adjust it, you can see the shimmer, the shine. And then you see some like QSP does quite a few where it seems like they just put too much dye in the carbon fiber and it looks flat.
The thing is, these and the nip, these are from Camo Carbon. That's a U.S. company.
Gotcha.
That's a U.S. company that's making it. This is from Fat Carbon, Lithuanian company making it. Right. They kind of started the Fat Carbon craze or whatever. As I understand it, it's ceramic paints or something that are in there. And China decided to copy Fat Carbon and try to make it. And while I respect that you want to find a cheaper way to use a material like that, you think it's cool, so you want to kind of just make it on your own. I get that. But not only did they copy it, they copied the exact colors that Fat Carbon uses. So they have the same exact color schemes. Like they have this nebula color scheme. Then they have like the green, yellow, and whatever it is, the toxic one.
Jungle wear.
So I don't understand why they did it that way. And then, like you said, they fucked it up and they put way too much color in. What's cool about Fat Carbon, Camo Carbon, you get some of that black in there. You get layers. Like it looks cool. To me, the Chinese Fat Carbon it looks like G10 almost. And it almost has that feel like a Damascus or a G10 versus a Camo Carbon or a Fat Carbon. But yeah, there's a difference there. For sure.
I noticed that on the concept Fenrir with the their carbon fiber, because I was expecting more of a Fat Carbon experience, and when I got it, I was like, this is carbon fiber, but it feels like G10.
What
feels
is it?
Like Damascus. It's the concept Fenrir with the red, blue, and white.
This stuff?
No. I'll find it.
Wait, is it the same shit we're talking about right now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. It feels like G10 really versus carbon fiber, in my opinion. I would never use it. I'm sure it's cheap, but I don't know.
All right, so I'll do a presentation. Why not? Hold on. All right.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sell the flipper. I am kind of growing. It's growing on me a little bit. I put skiffs in both of these, but if anybody's interested, let me know. I'd probably let this one go. Keep the front flipper because my mini Evo, I think, is substantially better. Just feels more clicky. All right, here we go. Oh yes, yeah, that's what I call CFC, Chinese fat carbon.
Dude, I love the knife, but I've just been developing this opinion where I'm like, I want them to get the fat carbon right. Like, you know what? If you're gonna copy or borrow something that comes from somebody else,
I don't want them to get it right. I want them to use fat carbon or use something else. It's kind of fucked up, honestly.
Or come up with their own.
But there was something yesterday. I had something in or whatever, and I said the same thing, but in that case, I liked it. And then I kind of caught myself and I was like, wait, it's the same concept. They stole it, but they did it better. So like, it didn't bother me. Damn it. I don't remember what the fuck it was. I'm going to have to think on that. But yeah.
So Kyle Coonley says, RollShambo, do you still stand behind O knife being a good whetstone? For cheap kitchen knives, 100%. If you've got a kitchen knife that's made out of any kind of premium steel that's harder than, say, like 14C or, you know, anything that has any kind of serious edge retention, then no, I wouldn't suggest the O knife whetstone for that. But if you're Joe Schmo going to Target, man, you know, buying the cheap Chicago cutlery, then yeah. I mean, you don't need diamond stone you don't need a $30, $40 diamond stone to sharpen, you know, your Chicago cutlery from Target. And when I made my video on it, that's actually what I used. I actually sharpened a cheap Target kitchen knife because I spent all my money on, you know, more expensive pocket knives.
Is that the one from Obuy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They sent me that. I ended up just giving it away. I don't know if I did a video, but I never used it because I don't hand sharpen. That's for sure. For the cheap stuff, it's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm not going to go and sharpen it. I'm not going to sharpen this on there. Hell no.
Right. So, all right. So we talked about super steels. I'm going to cross that off. We can come back to it if we want. One thing I want to talk about that kind of goes in with what Kathleen was saying is she says, let the science do the talking, but like the knife you like. So basically, at this point in time, for me, and maybe it's just me, right? And I'm jaded or it just doesn't matter all that much to me, but I buy knives more based on aesthetic, I think, than I do steel. At this point, it feels like we've gotten to a point where 90% of what you buy has a good enough steel on it that like it really doesn't matter all that much. Like, sure, is it like I'm sure some people get annoyed when like they buy a concept. It's $159 and it has S35 EN, but it's like, okay, it's got S30. I can easily live with that. If the knife design speaks to me, you know, like if this had M390 like all his other knives instead of S90V, which it does, I don't think it would have bothered me. Sure, it's a nice little plus that it has S90V, but like doesn't bother me one bit that this is M390. Like everything you buy, it's MagnaCut, it's M390, it's 20 CV. It's, you know, the basement is like S35 if you're spending what 120 and up or 150 and up, let's say. That might be the basement.
I'll agree with that. And I'll agree with that for one big reason. If you don't like the way a knife looks, are you going to carry it? Probably not. If you don't carry it, are you going to use it? Probably not. If you're not going to use it, it doesn't really matter what the steel's made out of. You know, at that point, it might as well just be, you know, Chinese scrap metal. But
exactly, John.
But what I'd love to see is instead of us moving towards newer steels, get the steels we already have right. You know, for example, this is a Chapman Lake Knives CLK2D.
Yeah, that's funny. I just did the video and I have one back there. They sent me a Lefty.
Nice. What's awesome about them is that they're a medical company. They make surgical knives and implements, and so their tolerances are insane.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet. When you look at their heat treat, they don't really shy away from doing the right heat treat on their M390 or 20 CV or whatever. It's the same thing.
It's 20 CV.
Is it?
But it's smaller batch. That's the thing I was saying earlier. It's, you know, they're doing probably 50 or 100 blades at once. They're not doing thousands. And that's where you really get a difference. You can dial in your heat treat when you're doing those numbers. But when you're a production company and you're doing, you know, 2,000 blades at once or whatever, you're gonna go lower to make it easier on yourself. I think that's just so. In that case, choose the steels that work better at a lower HRC, and that's why I feel like 14C has risen up. 154 CM has always been in that category, and S90V is now becoming more popular because S90V at the same 59 to 61 that you get every M390 20 CV at is going to crush versus those.
So here's a question for you. When you have these conversations, when Divo Knives has these conversations with OEMs, you know, in China or wherever, what is that like? How much pushback do you get when you go to the mat and you're like, I want, you know, a certain Rockwell hardness? What kind of pushback do you get? I
don't do that.
Does Colin do that, or you guys just accept?
No, like early on we tried that kind of stuff. They're not going to change the HRC for you. Like, you could push as hard as you want. That's why I was just saying, to me, it makes more sense to choose the steel that works best in the HRC range that you're going to get it at. I've tried battling with QSP. I tried battling with Best Tech. I tried battling with, maybe it was Coop. Early on, we did that kind of stuff where it's like we're doing 20 CV and everybody's like, oh, you got to do it at 61 to 63, right? And, you know, and I'll ask, what do you guys do your HRC at? 59 to 61. That's going to be the answer no matter where you go in China, mostly, right? Again, outliers like Kunwu or whatever, maybe you could get them to do something different. I've heard of some people getting Best Tech to go higher on MagnaCut. I don't think that was a person pushing them. I think it was just them were like, okay, we can go a little higher on MagnaCut because there's science out there like is proven you could go a little higher. They're not making heat treat changes for one run for one guy. Like, also, they send out the knives. Like, I'm 90% sure QSP, Best Tech, Riot, whoever, there's a company that all they do is heat treat fucking blades over there.
Right.
Or whatever it is, right?
Well, so, I mean, Best Tech has like we've established that Best Tech isn't just like one company, one factory. They're like a network of little factories, right?
They're a third party. They don't make knives.
Right.
So they're getting someone else. They have a string of shops, smaller shops or whatever, that they use for different projects, because you could tell that, like, at price points and whatnot, you get different knives basically. But yeah, they're not an actual OEM, but we just call them an OEM because it's easier for the brain to understand. But that's why they're more expensive, you know. But at this point, they're actually giving you what you're paying for. Their quality is really, really good at this point.
So on this topic, you know, we're talking about Rockwell hardness. Spyderco, known for, you know, putting out some of the most consistent, good heat treats, high Rockwell hardness knives, right? I'm really skeptical about the Spyderco Spyderco because it's made in Italy and it's going to be made by Lion Steel.
Don't buy it.
It's M398.
Shout out to Blessed Knives, guys. Check them out.
Yeah. Dude, it's M398. If they do a soft Italian heat treat on that, that's a crying shame.
M398 is the closest thing Udahome has to S90V, basically. But I guess you can't heat treat it at a it does. It's not optimal like S90V is at 60, 61 or whatever.
No,
I don't know the answer as I'm asking.
It needs a higher Rockwell hardness.
Okay. So yeah, don't buy that from Italy. It's going to be absolute dog shit. If I recall, the Chillin cutter or the Chillin or whatever from Fox, I think was M398. It might have been a different one, and they were terrible. Like I think it was a different one, but they were absolutely dog shit. And we got all excited because it was like, oh, M398, you know. And then anything from Italy is going to be soft. Like there's no way around that. And it's going to have shitty QC as well.
So I guarantee
Stevie knows.
I guarantee the Spy Mito, because they're only doing a limited run of like 2,000 worldwide, and that's it. They said this at SHOT Shows, like it's 2,000 and that's it. They're going to sell out immediately because
so this is their flash batch knife.
Yeah. So the Spy Mito, they're only doing 2,000.
What does that look like? I'm going to look it up.
Even if the heat treat is absolute dog shit, they will sell out immediately because it's instantly a collector's item. But watch. M. Houston says 2,000 chippy blades. Yeah.
What?
Sid One says, yeah, I want the Spy Mito since Spyderco is involved. It just disappoints me.
I see. Me. So it's the Lion Steel Mito, but
yeah,
Spidified.
It disappoints me because
I want absolutely nothing to do with it.
Dude, like they're in my opinion, and I'm probably wrong, but in my opinion, I think that they're the most consistent manufacturer when it comes to heat treats.
Spyderco?
Yeah. Like when it comes to a good heat treat.
Yeah,
like
no, Spyderco is by far the best. I mean, large volume. You know, I'm sure there's some lower, like Oz maybe is, crushing like, 64,
and it's
65.
It's not just like their Golden Colorado knives either. It's their Japanese knives. Even out of their Chinese factory, they actually get some good consistency too, which is crazy. But their Taiwan factory. And so like when I see them go into Lion Steel, I'm like, you're really going to put a flash batch in the hands of Lion Steel? Like it just kind of feels like they're leaning on their reputation to carry them on that.
Well, they don't care. They've done it before. They did the Spy Opera and like people bought it.
The padded
Marceau, it's PM60, I think, is the steel that Kunwu did. They had a hell of a time with that knife.
Yeah, because they were going to do ZDP 189, and then they decided not to.
I don't think they could get it or something. ZDP dried up. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't. Katsu has some, though. Have you checked out those premium Katsu knives?
I don't know. Maybe they made more or whatever. But I remember Monterey Bay, Sanford was telling me he bought up like a whole shitload of it because it was like going out of style. Like they weren't going to make it for a while or something. I forget. When my grandpappy fought in World War II, 440C was a super steel. Super steel wasn't a word. 154 is the first I remember. I don't think it would. Yeah, it's definitely a. Okay, that does make sense. Started with powdered steels.
Right.
So let's talk about the rates.
Man.
And real quick, guys, the giveaway tonight is you're gonna be my guinea pig for the first Divo to go out in a box instead of a bubble mailer. Finally making the switch. So I got a new MASH V2.5. This is a carbon fiber one. These are sick, by the way. This weighs 2.5 ounces. Belt satin, 154. So this will be the giveaway tonight. But yeah, I switched over to boxes, which is a pain in the ass because you have to put together all the fucking boxes. You don't just get to put it in a mailer and then tape the shit out of it. So that's new. But anyway, I just want to give you a heads up on the giveaway there. He says he's old enough. 440C was never called. Yeah. Okay. So channel raids. So Sharif posted a video today. This is where this came up. He posted a video today. At least I know this is where it came up for me. Maybe that, apparently, or this happened. Tri-State does raids, right? So he does live streams like this, and then I've done it. Last Thursday we did it. We sent everybody to Satu Dave to try to get him over 1K, and we did. And I don't think he ever went back under. But anyway, Tri-State will be like, hey, you got 5 minutes. Go to this video, watch it for X amount, like a minute, subscribe, leave a comment that says, tickle my balls or whatever. And then he can go to comment picker, search for tickle my balls, pull all the people who commented that, and then give away something using that, right? And the purpose of this channel raid is to send all you guys, let's say we did it right now, right? We sent everybody over to RollShambo's channel, and which, by the way, you should go subscribe to Roll. But let's say we said to win this match, this is not real, just saying, to win this match, you have to go over to Roll's channel, subscribe, and then leave a comment on X video, right? And then come back here and let us know you did it, right? So now 178 people who are watching this, probably 150 of you would like a new knife that hasn't even released yet. That's fucking awesome, if I say so myself. So you're going to go do it. But YouTube is going to go, okay, look at all these fuckers that went to this video, barely watched it, subscribed, left this comment that all seems the same, and then left. Didn't watch anything else on this channel, right? Some people will, but some people won't. You're just going to do it, and then you're going to forget, probably. It's not that you don't like the content or whatever, but it's that you were sent there and then came right back here. Like, you're not just hanging out over there now. So YouTube looks at that and goes, bots. Somebody's buying views or comments, whatever, and they just unsubscribe a whole bunch of people from that channel. We saw this when Jared did that big giveaway last year, and he tried to help out channels, and I think I was one of them. I got like 300 subs all at once. Next day, I was down like 350 or something. So Sharif had this happen where Tri-State sent everybody over to a video. He was sitting at like 1,850 subs. He got bumped all the way up to like 1970, whatever, making up numbers here. The next day, he was at like 1,750. Like, he lost all the people that came and then another like 100. And so he posted a video today about it. And this happened to a couple other channels too, as I understand. And so people were coming into Tri-State's live today asking about it. I wasn't there. And then Sharif posted a video saying basically what I just said. So that's the raid thing. That's why it's a topic right now. I don't know, Roll, what do you have? I don't know. You got anything you want to say about it or thoughts?
Dude, it happened to me, man. Like, and it's like, it did happen in a Tri-State live. I didn't lose more subs than I gained. I think I was like 100 away or something like that. And I had like 140 subs from his live stream, and I lost all but like 10 or 20. And that was a while ago. That was back when I hit the 3,000 subscriber mark. But when that happened, I was shocked. And it's 100% the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm is set up to sense when people buy subscriptions or buy views, and they penalize the crap out of you when that happens. It's crazy because when that happens, I noticed an immediate drop in views over the next couple of videos for the next couple of weeks. It was weird, but that's the YouTube algorithm doing its thing to keep people from being able to buy, their channel. So on one hand, I get it. On the other hand, it kind of sucks because channel raids are fun. I don't know about you. I used to do a ton of channel raids every single week. I was raiding a channel. We'd pick a small channel under 1,000 subscribers. We'd pile in, and that's fun. And I think that's why people would do them. But when that happened to me, I stopped doing them entirely because that sucks. It sucks to be like, yeah, look at that growth right away. And you know what? Maybe I've got some content people will like. And then you just see the number plummet. And if you look at the YouTube studio, it looks like a freaking knife set, dude.
And that
goes up,
essentially
goes
looks bad
down.
for you. That looks bad for you in general with YouTube, because now, you know, not only does it look like maybe you bought subs, but you're having a drop off of people watching. You're having like, so it kind of just kills the momentum you might have. I personally have never, I guess, seen it where it goes below. I don't think. I think maybe that did actually happen to me, but it wasn't like a lot. But yeah, I mean, I do them occasionally, and it's literally out of, I want to help somebody get more, or I want them to hit a goal. It's usually like somebody in the chat goes, Satu Dave is 50 away from 1K. Well, my instinct is like, let's fucking get them to 1K, right?
Right.
But apparently that could have a negative impact. Now, the way I always do it is I put the link and I'll say, to win this giveaway, and I'll do it at the beginning of the live, basically.
Right.
To win this, go to this link, watch the video for 1 minute. Like, you have to watch for one. I mean, it's an honor system, basically, but watch the video for 1 minute, leave a comment with the word Lefty in it, and then subscribe, like, all that shit, and then try to watch some other shit later or whatever, right? And I don't know if it's because, like, when you did it or when Tri-State does it, is it a specific like sentence?
So it's like a keyword,
or is it just what I do, where it's like just the word Lefty is in there?
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's just when I would do it, I'd be like, you know what, leave a comment, have RollShambo somewhere in the comment.
Okay, so same thing, right? And I wonder if you're not specific about it. Like if you say, go there and type in tickle my balls, and everybody types tickle my balls, then maybe the algorithm's like, something's up here. But if they're all random comments and they just have the word Lefty in there, maybe it doesn't trigger.
I have a theory, right? Like we all see, we've seen it in the past on giveaway live streams where people will pile in with their duplicate accounts, right?
Yeah, I mean, they do it every live stream.
We do our best to discourage it, but we know what happens.
Yeah, and so whatever. If they have the energy to do it. Like,
what if YouTube is actually catching like that these are duplicate accounts, that they're bot accounts, they only show up, and that's what triggers it? Because algorithms are literal. They take it to the T. So they're like, okay, we've got some suspicious activity. All these accounts are all doing this. That all meets the criteria. So now you lose all of this. And so I think it's weird because we see that happen, and it always happens on giveaway live streams. So I wonder if it's triggered because some of the accounts are literally duplicate giveaway only accounts. And so it just automatically flags it in YouTube's algorithm. I don't know, but I stopped doing the channel raids because it sucks, man. When you're a small channel and you're dead set on growing, it sucks to like see that spike because you're like, hell yeah, I'm getting somewhere. And then you see it fall off the cliff, and it's
yeah. So Kathleen says he did 27 giveaways and gave 5 times. So I've done the same thing though. I think when I did 10 or 15K, I had like 14 or ended up being like 20 packages. And I did a different channel for everyone. And I recall almost every one of those guys being like, you know, thanks, dude. I ended up getting like 20 subs in the end because they all came in and then they all got taken away. But nobody mentioned going under. That's the wild thing, is that I don't think anybody would care until where Sharif went actually below where he was. And you get a detrimental hit, right, with future stuff now too. It's just not worth it. You know, like, is there a way we can we just send people to subscribe, not go to a video? Or JD had an idea. He said maybe if it's a short, it makes more sense because a short's like 30 seconds. They're just going to watch the whole short. And then, I don't know. I find it's an interesting thing, but it's like maybe we just shouldn't do it.
Well,
and that sucks because like the instinct is to want to help,
I've got an idea. So back when I had like 400 subscribers, I got a shout out in a video from Stasa. Stasa shouted out my channel. He did a video. It was like 5 channels you should check out under 5,000 subscribers. And my channel was on there. And he just went over and did a brief overview of each channel, showed a clip of each channel and maybe a piece of their content. And that was great. I got a big boost and I didn't lose any of those subscribers. But he talked about the things that he liked on those channels. And I think what that did was it naturally pushed over people that just didn't know that my channel existed. It just naturally pushed them over. Right. And then they watched some content and then they subscribed. And I think that that's honestly the best way to do it. Right. Like if you really want to help out some small channels, and I think I'm probably going to do this where I just take some suggestions from the audience and be like, what are your favorite small channels under 5,000 subscribers? And then I'll check them out. I'll make a video. And, that's how I'm going to do the shout out, because if it's connected to a giveaway, like how many people are subscribing that actually want to be there versus I just want a free knife. Right. But if you put out a piece of content and say, here's these channels that you might not know about, check them out if you're interested in this. I think that might actually help a little bit more.
Right. Later, Casey. Guys, everybody check out the Tempest Fractus pre-order starts tomorrow. I think it's 1 p.m. It's been in the scroll down here the whole time. But yeah, Casey's doing a pre-order. There's only like 180 or 200 of them tops for the pre-order. So limited. Looks very cool. It is cool. I handled it. I have a video on it. I think he's pricing it around $199. I mean, it's solid. S90V. It's got all the trimmings. Very, very cool. So check that out. And then I also saw Knife Standards mentioned a pre-order as well. Does he have one going on? I apologize if I didn't know that. Oh, that's right. The station. He's doing another pre-order on the station. It's not a mini. Man, I want a mini. But here it is, $350. I think these are in Van X, which is sick. Or are they in MagnaCut now? I bet you he switched to MagnaCut. No, he kept it. Nice. That's my man right there. So these are in Van X Super Clean as well. $350 on the pre-order, $375 retail. Boom, right there. Same exact price as the Stout V2.
So who's the OEM on that?
Best Tech.
It's Best Tech. Okay.
Yep. Same OEM too. It's just mad expensive to have them make a knife this premium with Van X. You add all those things together, and I mean, I don't even think $375 is that expensive for what you get here. You could that Brian Brown you had earlier, that's $400, right? Yeah. This is $375. It was $325 on pre-order. His is $350, which is still a good discount. Yeah,
the Stout V2s look great. I just wish that you'd move past the wire clip.
We did. You get both.
Oh, nice. So it comes with it.
Yep, comes with the mill clip. Well, that was the plan. Now they're going to come with the wire clip installed, mill clip in the pouch. We wanted to do it the other way, but Best Tech literally forgot to make the clips. So they're actually in the mail now, guys. The clips have shipped. Clips have shipped.
And I just wanted to bust your balls over the wire clip.
Yeah, no, you can't bust me on that one. On the mash that's dropping next week, you can, but this knife is $140 shipped with the discount. So I dare someone to question the price.
Oh, they will. They will.
Oh yeah, they will. Yeah.
So I did a video on this guy, right? The CLK2D. The amount of machining and milling and the quality control that was done on this is insane for an American made knife. Like it's not a cheap knife. It's $500.
$450, dude. I think, or $495, right?
Is that lightning ammo?
Yeah. So funny story. He hit me up and he's like, I want to send you a Lefty to check out. And this is just a loaner. I'm sending it back tomorrow. And and he's like, I did this really cool entropic finish I've been working on. And I was like, is that lightning ano? And he goes, I was like, is entropic? Because I kind of put 2 and 2 together. I was like, is that lightning ano? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, that's funny, dude, because I literally just posted a short barfing all over lightning ano. It's kind of like a running joke with me. And dude, I immediately like Chapman Lake knives because he's like, I'm gonna send it to you anyway. I think it's gonna be funny. Like, and I'm like, you're my people. You know what I mean?
Right.
You could tell right away. If it was somebody else, they'd be like, oh, I don't know. I don't want you to like not like it. And then, he's like, send it, baby. And I'm like, all right, I'm in. It's cool. Like, if you like Lightning Ano, it's done exceptionally well. It's polished like crazy, and then the finish is on there. Yeah, I love that you can order these right now, and you can order left hand or right hand button, and the clip is reversible. So it's like.
And did you know you can ask for a custom ano and it doesn't cost any extra? Like that's killer. Man. Yeah. Nobody else is doing that. And like for this knife to be made,
cutter, dude.
For this knife to be made in the US for $500, like that's ridiculous. Yeah. Because you don't, like, you've checked out more knives than I have. You don't see American made chamfering and contouring like you get on here for $500.
The precision machining of that knife is up there with the top knives. Now it's a button lock, so it's a little different in feel, but it's solid. The machining is on point. $500 is an absolutely fantastic price. I paid $650 for that slim midi I just returned the other day, and it's not even close. Not even close.
So I've got one bugaboo on this, and I don't know if you're experiencing this as well, but it needs some Loctite on the pivot screw because
okay. So funny. I told him that this thing, I couldn't do the video at first because even if you watched last week's live, I unboxed it. It got locked up completely after like 5 flips. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? Because if it loosens enough, it can't open. And it just kept happening. So I talked to him and I was like, I normally glue shit, but I'm like, I'll Loctite it if you're okay with it. I don't want to mess with it. And he was like, yeah, go for it. Loctite it 4 times. Never cured. I waited 2 days in between 2 of those times and 1 day the other 2 times. And it just one side, both sides were loosening. So he's like, dude, just glue it. He's like, do your thing. And I was like, all right, I did. That didn't hold either.
Does he know who he's talking to?
It's so fucking smooth. Like when I would take the screw back out after it would loosen, after Loctiting it for 2 days, it would be clean as a whistle. I'm like, where the fuck is the Loctite going? Like, it's wild. It has like a bushing system. So like there's a press fit bushing or whatever you want to call it in the blade that the pivot screws into on both sides. They each have a screw. He said it wasn't a problem they've been having. So I don't know if it's just bad luck. It's almost like they polished the screws too well. So they can't hold in there with I'm sure you could get it to work with enough Loctite, or I was trying to be, obviously not go crazy because it's not my knife, but I did end up getting it good enough and I reviewed it. And then I did a cut test, and dude, that thing for such a short grind, it cuts really well.
Well, if you look at the edge bevel, it's a wide edge bevel. It doesn't look like the factory edge bevels you get on a lot of Chinese knives. Like,
right. I know what you're saying.
Like you could strap that. You don't have to reprofile it to sharpen it. That's great.
I don't know if did I show the station? Let me just do that real quick. Did I show it on the screen? I'm not sure if I did. But this is the purple one with black wash titanium handles and then belt satin blade. This is a monster, by the way. So if you like large knives, you're going to love this knife. It's 3.5-inch cutting edge. Total blade length is almost 4 inches. It's an 8.72-inch size. It's kind of like that Chapman Lake knife. That thing's way too big for me. If they do a mini, I'm going to be probably all over that. But yeah, Knife Standards is doing a pre-order, so check that out, guys. Great dude, great company, great knives, very cool designs. They all have a story behind them. I love that. And I've met ATR at shows. Absolutely wonderful dude. His wife is amazing, so support him if you can.
Knife Standard says this live is sponsored by Superglue. Kev 10 for 10% off.
Right here, baby. It's linked. It's linked everywhere, baby. I got it. Don't worry. Amazon link for that one though. Mash hits way above its price point. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you can get, it's CPM 150 or 154 CM, titanium or carbon fiber, belt satin or black wash, all titanium hardware, collars, backspacer, wire clip, 150 retail. And if you use a code, which do you have one?
Me? For
Did I set you up?
Or for Divo? No, yeah. I do have one for Divo.
I think I gave you one, right?
So
if you use a code, it's 10% off. So it's 135 and then shipping's $5. So it'll be 140 basically on our website shipped. I think that's pretty good. I mean, you could definitely find cheaper shit now, but I think in our space of like boutique brands and stuff like that, I think our prices are pretty good. We basically just base it off of what our cost is, like just because it's titanium and S90V, like when we did the nips, just because it's the same materials as X doesn't mean we need to charge $350. Like if we didn't pay the same, then, I feel like some people get hung up on like their price makes them look a certain way. Like it's like a status thing. But I feel like then you're just burying yourself doing that because you're like, I have to charge $350 because this guy does. And it's like, yeah, but if you don't have to because you didn't pay, I don't know. It's like that's a whole philosophy thing too. Like, would you rather sell more quicker or sell less at a higher price and have,
Well, I think that it's important for newer companies to sell more because it gets their name out there. It builds them up. But once that company's established, they don't necessarily see a need to pass on the savings. Like, for example, I remember being in your comment section like a month ago or something. We were talking about Axial versus the Kershaw Livewire, which, by the way, it's not even it's not even a competition. The Livewire is such a better deal, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, the Livewire is fucking amazing, dude. If I argued against it, I was wrong. But I think Axial came in. That's the thing, though. It's different when you're making the knives. Like, I'm having them made. We have a set cost for using an OEM. We can shop OEMs, shit like that. With a manufacturer like Axial, they're making the knives. They're making a like educated decision to come in low to build up their base of customers and then slowly raise it up as they get more and more customers to where it really should be, right? That's the thing. We're pricing it at what makes sense based off the cost. There's not like, well, we should charge way more. It's just we're bringing it down to get people to come. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of that, like with the Growler V2, the carbon fiber one should definitely be like 130. The belt satin and the extra steel or what, I can't remember the differences now, but the belt satin costs more on the mash and no liners and shit. But basically the reason the Growler V2 and carbon fiber is 109 retail and this mash is 150 is because the Growler V2 should have been around that price, but we had an aluminum one and a G10 one, and those cost less. So we were like, I don't want to have this huge disparity and have one version that's 99, one that's 109, and one that's 130. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So we were like, we'll just do it at 109.
So here's a question for you, because I think that a bigger problem, rather than, the difference of, I would say even 60 or $70 on price, is availability. What would you say to those people who are like, well, why don't you just have more knives made? What do you say to those people? Because every time I see a Divo release, like I wanted a Lush, man. Like the one that I wanted sold out immediately.
So yeah, I get that issue and argument and shit. So I've been pretty open about it. We like to do we want to do other shit. So like we have a lot of designs we want to do. So if we put all our money, because at this point, other than maybe one pre-order a year, and we're trying to not even do that, we're buying everything up front and doing drops. So we're not asking you for your money in advance for these things. If we did that, then sure, we could probably just order whatever you fucking ordered, right? But we have to decide how many and put our own money up. So if we order 1,000 mashes, well, that means we can't do the nip slip. That means we can't do the tall boy that's coming. We can't do this and we can't do that. We'd rather do smaller batches and have multiple designs. That's one thing. And then the other thing is we don't want to just come out with a knife and order like the Lush. We didn't want to order, 5, 6, 100, 1,000 of those and then have 12 things we want to fix, right? So we like to do smaller runs and then be able to be nimble. Like we can make adjustments. Look at the mash. We came out with it last January, did the V1. We immediately reordered and we made substantial changes to it for the better and came out with a V2 3 months later, right? If we order 1,000 of them and then it's like, I like to be able to, it's like CQI, I guess. Right. Look at it that way. We kind of have a system like that. And we also, the other thing is we're two people who work full-time jobs, right? We have families and shit. Like we have other stuff going on. If we order 1,000 mashes, I have to QC check 1,000 mashes, right? Now, granted, I have awesome local friends that actually help me with QC when I need to, which has been amazing. If you guys are here, thank you so much. But like, it'd be a big difference between 300, 500 and 1,000 or 2,000 of them or whatever. So there's that. And there's just a lot of different reasons it makes more sense to do smaller run. And if you guys really like something, we order more. We switch it up a little bit, different versions or styles or maybe a budget version or whatever. And, it's just kind of the way it goes. We're not made of money.
So what you're saying is that we could probably expect a Lush V2 somewhere down the road.
So I already put in with Concept to do another run. I think we're going to do 400 this time. 4 different versions. That's the plan. I don't actually think we're going to make any change. I think there's maybe one change or something, but there's no way to know in advance how well we're going to like it. They came out really, really good. So we really don't want to mess with it because if we mess with it too much, then you got to get new prototypes. It's a whole thing. And I don't really see much that needs to change on that knife personally. So there's just like maybe a tweak here and there, small thing that doesn't matter.
So is it just me, or is it like the colorways that you least expected end up being the most popular? The last one, I believe, on the Lush, I think the first one to sell out was the 80s? Yeah.
Yeah.
The 80s.
Yeah, I guess in hindsight, maybe you would think 80s would be the most popular. I thought that one would sit around. I figured it was a vocal minority thing. Like, I love 80s. I know 10 people who love 80s, but I know a lot of people are like, that's just too much for me. Like, it's too much color. It's not, it's not just blue or whatever. So I expected that one to sit around. I actually contemplated ordering like 50 of those instead of 100. And then they sold out in like 5 seconds or 5 minutes or whatever. And you just don't, like with the nip, I knew the purple would be popular. That's just, purple sells, man. Purple, blue, they seem to be like the two that just kind of go.
Well, you see, I'm a huge Lakers fan, so naturally I like purple. But I know that it's one of those colors that stands out. Plus, it's the purple nurple. It's the nip. Like that was a
Hell
gift.
yeah.
You know what I'd love to see, and I don't know if this is possible, but I'd love to see this in a gecko camo carbon. That would be pretty sweet. I think that you're directly related to a lot of these trends, because when you show off these carbon fibers, like I remember when I was before I even had a channel, I remember watching your content and being like, fat carbon, what's fat carbon? Why is the carbon fiber fat? Why can't it just get on a weight loss diet or something? And you were doing a lot of carbonized stuff. And the crazy thing,
carbonized is awesome, dude.
Yeah, the crazy thing about the best fat carbon that I've noticed is that it doesn't photograph well, because photographs rarely capture the depth that you get. And then what was it? I'm trying to remember the first knife, but the first knife I got with purple haze fat carbon fiber, I was blown away. I was like, this looks way better than it did in its pictures.
You have to go through them though, because like I was really interested in jungle wear, and then man, I really do not like jungle wear. It's cool, but like it's my least favorite probably of the colors. I didn't expect to fall in love with this crazy ass shit, but it really does in person just look amazing. Gecko's another one, but Gecko is one of those where I look at it and I go, but this could be 80s if it had these other two colors. Why not just give me the other two colors? So I think on the next round of Lush, I think we're going to try to do 80s and I think Flow Party camo. And then we wanted to do like a micarta or something to be a little bit more, basic, so to speak. But we couldn't really find like a good micarta. We didn't want to just be like, give us your Chinese micarta. So we ended up scrapping that. So I think it's those two. And I believe we wanted to do a sort of blackout one with dark matter glow. And then purple haze, pretty sure.
So I've been on, this has been my most carried knife recently. The TPK exclusive Hedgehog. Yeah.
Excellent knife.
And you can't see it very well on camera, I don't think, but this is the Miami Vice.
It's the same one I have, dude. I think.
Man.
Yeah.
The Miami Vice.
See it? It's your lighting. Yeah, you got that like podcast lighting going on there, dude.
Oh man, the Miami Vice fat. It's not fat carbon, I don't think.
Camo carbon. Yeah, it's a nice one because it has. So that's the thing, is there's nice subtleties to them. That's one that has a lot of the black in it. So it's kind of just, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the dark matter colors from fat carbon, where it's just like here and there. It's not like bam, just everywhere in your face. That's what she said.
There's a trend going on in the chat right now. They're saying, please don't use the flashlight word.
Yeah. They don't like flashlights because I'll go on tangents, dude. Here we go. Here's my Oklahoma. That's what I was carrying today. What's that one?
So this one,
you're doing flashlight reviews too, right?
Yeah. And
you get the same. You get all the emails that I get, right, from the random brands.
Workos, Woobin.
Is this? Oh, we have the same one. Is that the TD05 or whatever?
It is. You got the same one.
Nice. Yeah, I just got it the other day. Yeah, dude, they hit us all up at once. Nightcore, Olight, whatever it is.
Well, you know what happens? Like I'll do 3 or 4 flashlight videos, and you know what? It'll be like average views, and then one just blows up.
Yes.
Like that was
the Nightcore one I did recently. Had usually it's like half the views of a knife video, maybe if I get lucky. But then I had that Nightcore EDC 33 that had like 4,000 views or something, and I was like, that's wildly weird. But yeah, they came out with a 35. It's like the same light, just bigger. So that'll be great. This one's cool. This one's from Through Night. It's probably like $15. The stupid thing is it's called the TI Pro, but it's not in titanium. I don't understand why they would call it that. But it's a little twisty, actually. It has 3 modes. But this tiny ass thing is a 14500 battery in it. So you get a pretty monstrous amount of runtime on this little guy. It's not a AAA. Like here's Here's a i3T from Olight. It's actually bigger than this thing, and this has a AA size battery. So it's pretty cool. And they're cheap as shit.
Yeah, Kyle's about to put me in timeout. He said, "Who brought up lights? You're getting a timeout."
I heard Olight's having a sale. No, dude, they didn't do a sale for like 2 months.
Yeah, they're about to go into Chinese New Year.
Yeah, they haven't hit me up in a while, Marcel. So I don't know if they just are on hold with sales or something. But they did send me that Javelot Pro a couple weeks ago. I love that thing's a monster. Have you seen that thing, dude? It is a beast.
So it's a thrower flashlight. Like that's the gimmick on it, right? Is that you can shoot the beam super far. It's got lots of candela.
Like 1,000. It's like 270,000 candela or something.
Jesus.
Here, look at this thing, dude. Do you actually like go outside and test them or anything, or you just like fuck with them around the house?
Yeah. So I do beam tests. I feel like there's no point in reviewing a flashlight if you're not actually going to test it outside. But
agreed. I do the same thing now. I didn't used to, because it used to just be like, hey, another thing to review, click on. But now I'm kind of nerding out on flashlights.
Living in the city, like I live in Denver. I never understood just how well lit the city is at night. Like I don't even live in like downtown. Like I live in, outskirts. Finding a dark enough spot in the cities it sucks, but it gives me a great appreciation for just how intense some of the lights are. Like on the EDC 33, that's 4,000 lumens at its max setting.
That thing is wild, dude. It's pretty cool, actually.
I really like it. I carry it a lot, and for me, the most used mode is actually the searchlight mode because it's the half press, and boom.
I got so much shit for that, dude, because I didn't get that name right when I did the review. I was like, you can half press and you get like, I don't even know what I said. You get like half the lumen shield or whatever. And I just got like ripped in the comments. And I'm like, come on, it's fucking search mode. Like,
you can never get anything wrong. The comment section always knows.
Well, that's what happens when you have one of those videos where it does take off a little bit. You get all these random people that don't watch you normally watching the video and then just ripping you. That's what shorts are great for. I love it.
So I had a smaller channel reach out to me one time and they're like, so what do you think about this? Like I made this mistake. And I said, leave your mistakes in there. They're like, what do you mean leave the mistakes in? And I said, leave them in because people love to talk about the mistakes that you make. And that actually helps the algorithm. Like
tell me about it.
Let them go hog wild in the comment section. That's the best thing you can do. If you
My
guys
channel is literally one big mistake. That should be a motto. That's great. All right, we don't need to talk about flashlights. Jeez, that's funny. I'm trying to think if I got anything else. Did you get anything else new in recently?
Well, I'll give you a sneak peek, and I know that I'm going to catch a ton in the comment section for this one.
Is that a Microtech?
It's the Rykrotech Matrix.
Okay.
So I did a swap.
Looks okay. I mean, if you're a tactical big knife, mid-guards guy, I mean.
So this is one of their designs that was originally like, $1,000 knife or $800 knife
I've
or whatever.
A lot about the Matrix.
And I saw when they released this on their Instagram, when they did the teaser, and I knew the moment I saw it, like that's made by Ryk. People were tearing it a new one. They're like, oh, it's made in China. Like, guys, I hate to break it to you, but we don't lose here. This is better quality than Microtech is capable of manufacturing, and it's going to be cheaper than if you were to buy it directly from them. Like, we don't lose. Ryk is highly underrated in their manufacturing capabilities.
Yeah, they're good.
Like, this came in today. I'm impressed. The one thing that shocked me was the size. Like this.
What gas station is that from?
What gas station?
Did you get a metal tail with it to screw in?
I mean, it comes with this atrocity.
Have you ever seen the annex?
Yeah. The little bead.
Oh, it's so stupid.
It's cringy, man. And you know what? Like I'll say it. Like I'm not a fan of this glass breaker. I don't understand why it's there. You know what I think they should have
Tony
done.
Marfione, that's why.
What they should have done is they should have given us like a replacement screw, because when you look on the inside, you actually see where it screws in. And so you can
it
take
should
this off.
100% always come with a replace. But you could find something that screws in there.
Right. But is it going to be a perfect fit? Like, I don't know.
They sell stuff like that. If it's the same as the OTFs, they sell screws to fit in there. And then, yeah, it's like the triangle. I did a video on this actually on their OTFs. You can use a drill bit chuck, and you literally put it around the glass breaker and then tighten your chuck, and it'll, because it's a triangle, it'll grab, and then you can just loosen it up. You don't actually turn the drill on. You just use the drill to then like loosen it up.
It's hard to show on camera, but there's actually a torque screw.
Oh, that's
on
nice.
The inside. So it's super easy. You just pop a scale off and then take it out.
And there's no replacement for it?
I've got the box right here.
There has to be a screw for that absurd thing hanging off of your knife.
The attitude adjuster. I was prepared to use it if you got frisky. No, man, there's no replacement screw. There's no filler. There's no filler screw, but there should be 100%.
Literally the stupidest thing I've seen.
But you know, I remember I did a video where it was on like an Ultra Tech, and I was talking about how nobody uses their glass breaker. And you got to be careful, because the moment you say something like that in a video, you know, the next comment that you're going to see is that one first responder that's like, and I smashed 10 windows with this thing today, and I have to have it on every knife. And so every time I mention that these are not useful, there's always someone in the comment section ready to tell me that they have, in fact, used this to save someone's life. And so I get it. If you're trying to make a knife for first responders, for your firefighters, for your police officers, you know, for your search and rescue guys, cool. For your soldiers, cool. Understand that most people are never going to use this. Like, we should have a replacement screw. I'm trying to remember who did it. I think it was Hogue. Was it Hogue on the Counter-Strike? It has a tiny little glass breaker on the end.
Yeah.
And it has a replacement screw. You just pop it in there.
I had one of those. Yeah, you can replace it.
Like, there's no reason why this costs, what is it, $450? And there's
how
no
about not have the glass breaker? Because 95% of people don't need it.
I mean, with that being said, I really like this. I'm surprised at how light it is given its size. It's actually about the same size as as this guy, the Stitch. And the Stitch is not a small knife either. But I was carrying both of these because this came in today. I was carrying both of these. I'm like, can I feel the difference in quality between the Reich and between what's made in-house at Microtech? Because I really like this knife. This is one of my favorite knives of last year. But the difference in quality, it just, like, it's staggering.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone would complain about a company coming out with...
But that one's actually cheaper, right? The American one?
This one, $300. But we're talking...
cheaper than the Chinese one.
But we're talking aluminum, right? This one's titanium carbon fiber.
Yeah, but it's $450 and China made. I mean, I don't think they're killing you on price, I guess is what I'm saying. No. Especially for the U.S. stuff. No. But I mean, if they were to make this knife in the U.S., like, you know, this wouldn't be $450 U.S. made. This would be $600, $700, $800. Which is why they're doing it overseas. Plus, they can't do it themselves.
No.
I don't think they could make a knife that good. So
absolutely.
Yeah, dude. We talked about it a little earlier. There's probably going to be 3 new versions, and then the 80s will probably come back because we get a lot of requests for the 80s. But yeah, we're working on the Lush second run, and the Nip Slip we got into production. And then the Growler V2s and the Pony premium ponies just shipped. So those are going to White Mountain Knives. So those drops will be later this month, early March.
So I don't know how much behind the scenes info you have, but if you had to pick a company to be like a breakout brand this year, do you have any companies that you're like, this company's going to make waves?
Well, are you talking about like any company, or are you talking about like the bigger, like Chinese, US? Like, what are you doing? I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, for example, Best Tech's not gonna break out. They're already a, you know, huge, they're already very well successful. Right. But like, for example, I was handling my Three Rivers Shadow. I have a Merlot Micarta Shadow. Love that. It's fantastic. And I was thinking, I was like, could this be the year? You know, we're starting to see more production titanium contoured handle scales from them. Their pricing is super reasonable. They do a good job on the heat treats. You know, good people over there. They don't have a huge amount of production capabilities.
That's why I don't think it would be them.
But
that would be my thinking on that. Man, that's a great question. I think we're probably going to see a good jump from what's his name? We're talking about like smaller stuff. Javi Garcia is a guy that I think is going to be doing some really cool stuff, whether it's his own production runs, custom stuff, or just his influence with Pena and Ogier. I don't know if you know who he is, but he designed the Paramore, Pena Paramore, and the Pena Garcia Alacron. The Alacron's his design too. And then he's 1/3 of Superlative.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So he's like a new, I don't know, I don't want to say new, but like he kind of, it seems like Pena and Ogier took him under their wing. So I think you'll see a lot of cool stuff from Garcia this year. Another one would probably be Esnix, that guy from Esnix. I want to see a Stingray, cut a production Stingray. I'm gonna be fucking over the moon if they do that.
So I have a theory, you know, and this is pretty arguable, but I think that Vosteed is going to have an even bigger year this year than they did last year.
Well, Vosteed's they're on the trajectory of those Kaisers, and you know, they're ramping their way up to that. So yeah, I could easily see that. I like Vosteed. They seem like solid people as well. I've met Dr. EDC. I always forget his damn name.
It's like UA.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I met him at Blade Show. He's got like all these ideas for locking mechanisms and shit. They need to get away from button locks. Everybody, that's my call to arms this year is, can we just put down the springs? Can we like get all the springs in China and fucking melt them or something? I don't want springs in my fucking knife anymore. Like, so it's so frustrating being a reviewer, getting new knives every month from various companies, and it's just 90% of them have a fucking spring now.
So that's actually, I'm glad you said that, because that's actually what I was getting at. They've teased that they are prototyping several designs with the top liner lock, which is basically their button compression lock. So
cool.
Like I don't have any problem with a Spyderco smock style button compression or what they did on the Chaos.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
some people would argue that it's
button. Like Golden Design Works, the way he did it.
Yeah, but like that is the best way to do a button. It's a stronger, more reliable lockup. You get a solid detent. The action is perfect. It keeps your fingers out of the cutting path.
I always get these nerds every goddamn time I say it. I get, well, a liner lock or a frame lock is a spring too. Yes, technically it's a spring.
Is what they call it.
I'm just kidding, leveling up, but I get it every time, and I'm like, shut up. Shut up. You know exactly what I mean. I mean compression springs, I guess. All right.
So Vosteed, very successful with the Chaos. They're prototyping several knives with the top liner lock. We'll call it a compression lock, but
yeah.
they're going to have, I am anticipating that they're going to have several big hits this year. If they come out with more, like, shit, man, they could come out with the nightshade. Like, they've already done several versions of the nightshade, very popular. Imagine this with their more premium knife, but with a top liner lock. Like, you get the button, you don't have to worry about, the spine whacking fiascos. You make this knife with a top liner lock, like, it's going to blow people's socks off.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the compression lock just because I'm left-handed, but the ones with the buttons are definitely better depending on where they're located. Sometimes they're just in a bad spot left-handed, but for most people, I think it does make sense. I like liner locks and fucking frame locks. I'm weird, I guess. Actually, David, funny story. We had Kaiser prototype the mash as a button lock last year when we did the first mash run with Brian from Blue Creek. I don't know if it was my idea or his idea, but it was like, oh, a button lock would be cool. So we paid Kaiser to do prototypes of a button lock mash. We got them in at like Blade Show last year. And Colin and I immediately were like, dude, we don't want to deal with QC and warranty on a fucking button lock. No, thank you. So I just hit up Kaiser and was like, hey, do you guys want this as a licensed design? And we signed an agreement with them. So there apparently will be a button lock mash coming this year. So it's kind of ironic, but I will talk shit on it when it comes out. So,
I was gonna say, you can count on G-Ball and Casey. The first thing they're gonna do with it, man, they're gonna spine whack it. They're gonna find out.
I mean, he said he was joking. Yeah, it's just funny that you get that every time. It's, oh my god, it's funny because for the longest time, I thought the Malibu was a really cool knife. I thought it was a great American-made knife. I thought it was priced extremely well. And I thought it was a really good thing for the knife world, the Malibu, right? I think we all did. If I could go back in time and fucking burn the drawings of that knife, I would. Like, if I could find Doc Brown and throw some carrots into that fucking, what is it called? The combustulator or whatever, and take the DeLorean back and just fucking bitch slap that guy from ProTech and be like, dude, make it an auto. Please make it a fucking auto. Because ever since the Malibu came out, it has been the worst trend in knives ever, in my opinion. And it started with the Malibu, and then fucking we being silly as fuck with their Elementum with no deployment method, aka we couldn't figure out how to do this right Elementum. And then it just took off from there. Everybody and their mom, button lock, button lock, button lock. And then thank God, at least, that Benchmade's patent ran up and people kind of got distracted a little bit with those locks. But then the Shark lock came out, another fucking detriment to humanity. And it's just like, why with these fucking springs? Like, the reason I hate them, guys, is they have mushy, horrible detents. And they just don't feel solid. Like, they feel cheap. Like, just the nature of them feels cheap to me. I understand Axis locks, Benchmade. I understand that corner of the world where it's like, these are functional tools. They work really well for people with gloves on. They're ambidextrous. So if you're left-handed, you naturally just kind of like those kind of locks. Omega springs are probably the best end of that stuff. But I could not hate spring locks more. It's so frustrating that it's cool if it's like every once in a while something comes out, but it's like, I'm sure other people feel the same way about frame locks and liner locks. I just don't like it with spring locks. So everybody's different, but Jesus.
Yeah, I've fallen out of love with plunge locks. I'm not going to say button locks because we've seen so many alternative button locks. Like we saw, what was the one called? The Truffles. There's the knives by Dark Design. that are
Riyadh's doing it now. The pivot lock.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I'm getting worn out on plunge locks more so because like I'm not surprised anymore when I see a video, you know, such and such knife lock failed or knife locks. Like I'm not surprised anymore.
Who uses their knives? What?
You're supposed to use your knives. It doesn't surprise me anymore. But
Yes,
also for me, like I miss the feeling of a good D10. What I like about this one is that this one is the exception. Like the action on here, I think it's based on where they have that plunge at.
That's the problem though. Because of what they had to force, the design sort of has to dictate where things go. Look at the Orion knife Solaris blade banter. Great dude, cool knife, whatever. Personally, the aesthetic just does not work for me. But the knife is functional and works really well because that flipper tab's fucking up here and the thumb stud's down here. It's the same thing with that knife. And that's how you achieve it feeling good, right? Because if you put those things level, make it look sleek and whatever, it's dog shit, right? So I get it. It's function over form in that case. But for me, it's just I just don't even want the button lock, you know?
You know, the Spyderco smock is no exception either. Like when you look at the Spyderco smock, it has that really ugly cutout at the heel of the blade to account for the to account for the button.
The smock?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah, but the smock is a compression style one, which is cool.
Right. So what I'm talking about is that cutout right there is not a traditional like finger cutout or even a sharpening choil.
That's another problem I have with the compression lock is it makes your blade to handle ratio dog shit. That's why I didn't like the Chaos, because it's like you get like 2 handles for 1 blade on that thing.
See, but like I'm not seeing that on this one. Like the blade to handle scale ratio on this one is pretty good.
I don't know. Oh, sure, when you're looking at it closed, but like the cutting edge like compared to the handle, it's probably way off. I haven't had a smock in a long time, but the Chaos was like the worst offender of that. I don't know, Junior Miz. I didn't try to spine. I don't know. You could check out my truffles video. I may have spine whacked it, but
we're not doing this.
They made changes in production and can't stand access or button locks, sloppy D10. So somebody earlier mentioned the magnet thing where they're like, spring lock with a magnet, you know, is great. And the problem with I can bitch about anything, by the way. The problem with that is, yes, the magnet adds more strength to the detent, right? But you still have that wonky like spring compression that you have to overcome. Like I've handled a couple with the on the Demcos, and it still has a spring in there, right? And then you have the magnet detent. So I don't know. They just never feel right to me. It's like, just make it a frame lock then. Just make it a real, you know, instead of trying to mimic it, you know? Has anybody spine whacked the Factor? I'm pretty sure that one locks up like a bank vault, if I remember correctly. That was a part of the spiel with that one, how strong it is. Demco knives work great. Yeah, no, I totally agree, guys. There's a lot of the knives that, like the Axis locks and the Shark locks, they're very sturdy, strong knives. They work well. They cut, like, you know what I mean? It's all about what you're in it for. Everything I say is just my opinion, my preference. Doesn't mean I'm telling you what you should like.
I like the Shark lock. I'll be honest about that. I hate their cutting geometry on the regular knives. Like if it's not a slicer, then their cutting geometry is well, it's dog shit.
The Demcos?
Yeah, like
they're bruiser knives. I think they're meant to be hard use knives with their OS 10. I'm just kidding. They're soft 10A.
Oh man, they should have done 14C. 14C would have been much better.
Ed, I love you, man, but if you're waiting for me to get over something, it's gonna be a long time, brother. It's gonna be a long time. Smock has that weird gap. Yeah, that's the thing with those compression-y style. I mean, pretty sure it's the same way with even like the Para 3. You just end up with just bad blade to handle ratio, I think. Like cutting edge to handle ratio, I guess. I mean, look at how much tip handle you have after that tip. It's like 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little more. And then how much you have before the
but
then you can go the other end of it, like Medford with his handle sticking out or blade sticking out the top.
Right. So aesthetically speaking, maybe it takes a hit, but it's nice being able to have a blade that small that your whole hand can fit on.
So a lot of people have that argument with the what the hell was that knife? The one I reviewed, that American made button lock, not Chapman Lake, Dead Reckon knives. I don't know if you saw it. You'd probably like it, dude. You haven't seen it?
They dropped some today.
Yeah, they did a new blade shape.
Yeah,
but a lot of people had that argument. They were like, I actually, because I use my knives, I would prefer to have the handle be a full-size handle for my hand, even if the blade isn't. Like, so I'm choosing, I like a knife with a 3-inch blade or whatever, but I want a full grip on it. So having one with shitty blade to handle ratio is ideal for some people. Totally get it. Especially people who use their knives. You know what I mean? Like, I opened Amazon boxes and I cut some cardboard and shit. I'm not out here chopping down horses, as I like to say.
If I won't carry it, I won't keep it. That's my rule. And so that means that I'm also carrying.
Yo, what up? Chapman Lake knives in the house.
That means I'm also carrying this bad boy. The Midgard's Messer Berserker, the full-size Berserker. Yeah, I've carried this. It scares small children. It's a fact.
Okay. So it's a pistol grip, basically.
Yeah. Well, flintlock inspired, I guess you could say.
Persian
trailing point style blade. What's impressive is the fact that the action on here is way better than it has any right to be.
Whose knife is that?
The smaller version. What
knife is that?
It's the Midgard's Berserker.
Midgard's, got it. Yeah, dude, I just had that wild ass knife in the Fenris. That thing is ridiculous.
What did you think? Is it fun?
No, it's stupid. It's like literally too big for its own good. Like you can't even use the damn thing. You have to open it and then lock it and then two-hand it. You might as well have just made a machete with a sheath. It would have weighed way less. Like it would have looked better. You wouldn't have had to deal with unscrewing threads. And it's $400. And it's in aluminum, so it feels terrible to use. Like if you were actually going to use something like that, I'm guessing you'd be like chopping or some shit, and it would feel horrible with aluminum and then like a steel liner lock rattling around in there. It had bad lockup. It was just a bad knife. I mean, I don't know. I posted a video today. It's a novelty knife, so I get the point of it, but to me it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So for me, like I like experiencing different things. Like for example, this is my Midgard's Messer Thunrar. It's a 1/4 inch thick spine, and this slices probably better than just about anything that I currently own. I did put my own edge bevel on there, but aside from that, like the cutting geometry is
actually
fantastic.
Carry it.
Yeah. It weighs almost 12 ounces.
Do your pants stay up? Like, what do you?
I mean, I wear a belt.
You wear suspenders on those days, or?
Man, I wish I could get away with suspenders. No, like this actually carries pretty well. Is it heavy? Yeah, but that's only compared to other knives. Something that blows me away is like we talk about, oh, this knife is 6 ounces. It's super heavy. No, it's not. Like weigh your wallet, weigh your shoes. Stop complaining about 5 or 6 ounces. And when you carry something like this, you notice it right away on the first day. You notice it on the second day. You notice it on the third day. On the fourth day, everything else feels feather light, and this feels normal. So is it too heavy, or do we just need to get over it, wear a belt, and carry
I
it?
think that's too heavy. I think you're an outlier.
I enjoy it.
I would venture to guess that the knife market agrees with me, because I bet you that knife probably has on it 50 out of 100 or something.
What's that?
Does that knife have a COA or something that says 23 out of 100 or 23 out of 50?
It is 12 out of 20.
Yeah. So there you go. They made 20 of those. And then what do they have, like 4 versions?
No. So this is, they made 270. They made 250 of the first run and then 20 of this run. So this is a secondary limited run. But yeah, I like it, man. They call it a Nordic buoy. What I love so much about it is the looks people give me when I go to use this. Like the amount of conversations that I've started with this knife. It's really, really fun to carry because people all of a sudden want to talk about it. Like when I carry my my slip joint, nobody cares. Nobody cares about my QSB Hedgehog or how much I like it. It's not a conversation starter. But you pull this out to open up a letter with, and everybody wants to talk to you, sometimes including HR. But it's good, dude. It's a lot of fun. And it's one of those knives that I truly enjoy because it's ridiculous. It's not something you forget about. There's so many knives that are forgettable these days. Right. We look at so much of the same. And that's what I like about Midgards is that they're not
get it, man. It's cool to have different stuff sometimes. It just depends on what it is for me. Like this past year, there was a lot of knives from what's his name, Tigawis. He's a designer that I thought were really cool, and they were just totally different. But for me, I'm not going to go to like wildly huge, heavy knives, but like different designs, I can see that. Like the Cabell knives, Denka was one I really loved last year, and it's a weird design, no clip, it's small. So M Houston's talking about Dead Reckon and their warranty, not their warranty. They say Disassembly voids warranty, and I think it's because they have a weird sort of assembly. Like, I don't know if you guys need to check out my video, but like the pivot actually moves with the blade. So like, I'd be curious what taking it apart would be like. And then it's a button lock, but it has like this. So I could see, I'm guessing if something goes wrong, you just hit them up. They fix it for you. That's the way they're looking at it. But they're kind of saying nothing's supposed to go wrong. It's built like a tank and it's all enclosed. So like the bearings are enclosed or whatever. So you can't get gunk and shit in there. You just blow out whatever and you're good to go. So, but I totally get it. We would never ask people not to disassemble our knives. Because, I mean, first off, it would be I'd be a hypocrite. I make videos disassembling knives. But, like, you got to take your knife apart sometimes, right? I mean, do you do a lot of disassemblies?
Yeah. So a lot of times it comes when I want to oil my knives for putting them away. Like if I know I'm not going to carry something for a while, the best thing to do is just leave it lubed. Lube is good. Leave it lubed and then put it away. So when I do that, like for example, on my Spydercos, because I modify almost every single Spyderco that I have, I modify. Have you ever run into taking a Spyderco apart and you get to the lanyard tube and all of a sudden you hate life? Because that lanyard tube just sucks.
Never been a Spyderco guy, so I've only had to deal with one real
the lanyard tube
in the ass. They make a tool, man. Just get the tool.
I've got one. And the tool helps. But even sometimes, like for example, when I modified my Blade Ops PM2, the Emerson edition, this guy, like I actually made a video where I did that. And I replaced the lanyard tube with the rock scale lanyard tube. Because it's a good optional replacement.
Yep.
But even with the tool, I had to crank down really, really hard to get that out. But if you oil up your Spyderco before you do that and you let it sit for like a day overnight, all of a sudden that lanyard tube comes out really easily. So I take my knives apart pretty frequently just to maintenance them, especially if I'm going to put them away. If I know I'm not carrying it for a month or 2 months, I like to take it apart, clean it, make sure it's good to go. This by far is one of my favorite tools. And it's also extremely satisfying to fidget with. I keep it on my desk.
What?
I know you got
What
one
is
of
it?
these.
Oh, the Get Good screw?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love, dude, their drivers are the shit.
Love it, man.
Let's see if any other questions. You guys have any other questions? I guess we could.
Palmer Connolly says, RollShambo, show off that PM2. So
Is
this
that
is
the one with the sharp dress knives scales?
No, that's actually a different one. So I did 2 PM2 modifications at the same time. So I did this one with the rock scale designs. These are the critter scales with their purple backspace
wave on it.
So this is the Emerson edition. So it's
you ever use it?
Blade Ops exclusive. Oh hell yeah, man! It's a lot of fun. Like it's addictive. Like you start waving these out of your pocket.
Cool that way. I always feel like Spydercos, like they're too tall. You know, it's kind of cool how they cut half the.
They're not classically pretty, but they've got a great personality. This is the one where I modified it with the sharp dress knife scales.
Gotcha.
It's the dark matter red that does not show up well. I need better lighting to show off these scales. But they're both all American modified. I got the OCD for EDC CME on there, which I'm kind of torn on, honestly. I don't know if I like it or not. But it's there now. Like, I'm not going to take it off. So yeah, modifying Spydercos is one of my favorite things to do because there's so many options out there and you can go down the rabbit hole. Like this one has sharp dress knives, dark matter, fat carbon fiber scales. It's got the MXG titanium deep carry clip, the CME Rips Garage Tech dark matter red backspacer. Like, you want to talk about making a like $150 knife, a $500 knife? Just do that. So,
yeah. There's a lot of people. Well, I feel like a lot of people early on get into modding Spydercos, and then there's just people who fall. Like it seems like you like Spyderco. You have an affinity for Spyderco. I really don't. Like I do have 2, but both of them were basically given to me. This was a gift from Colin. And then this one was sent to me for review. That's the only reason I have 2 Spydercos. I do love the Native 5. That one's definitely my favorite. Made me like backlocks.
Dude, they make a good knife. It's hard to argue. Some people just don't like how they look because they look wonky. I remember the first time I saw a Spyderco and I asked, like, dear God, why does everyone love this knife? Because this looks awkward. And but then I started with the Manix 2, and it's one of those knives that you can really go down the rabbit hole really easily with. And now look, I've got several modified ones like this one, for example. I love this one because these are Kevin Smock custom scales, limited edition. Like the person that designed this knife made these custom scales. That's cool.
Yeah, that's because you can't get his knife because you got to wait 2 years and then he keeps your money for the whole time. Apparently that's what I heard.
But that's the custom game though. You know, like
no, that's not the custom game actually. Usually it's you get a book spot and then when your turn is up or whatever, then maybe you pay a portion or something and then you pay the rest when it's done.
So I reviewed
I'm pretty sure with him it was like full up front or something. I don't know. Somebody could tell me. I think Luck Knives had one or was on the books or whatever. I was mostly just throwing a jab out there.
So I reviewed a Sean O'Connell custom mini Persian, and the guy that lent it to me was telling me, he's like, yeah, I paid for this 2 years in advance. So he's not the only one. I've actually heard that a couple times.
How was that?
I liked it. I really did. I mean, at the time I didn't have as discerning of an eye as I had now. Like, you know, there's certain things that I'm sure that I missed. But I loved it. The action was good. The contouring felt great. I loved the pocket clip on it. It was super contoured on the pocket clip. So the ergos just melted away in the hands. I really liked it, but I mean, with a custom, your mileage may vary.
Yeah, customs are definitely, I've learned they're not going to be CNC precision. So you got to just know that up front. And
unless you get one of those Blaurock blades.
Those aren't handmade though.
No, they're CNC customs, right?
So that's not a custom then. We call those, I guess, small batch. Somebody was asking about Chapman earlier, Chapman Lake, and I would say the same thing. They're small batch CNC knives, maybe small batch CNC custom. I don't know how you want to word it, but they're not making thousands of them at once or whatever. And they're highly precision made on CNC machines, which that's my personal like top tier of knives, is that category where Chapman Lake, Oz, Koenig, where those guys are, because you're getting that precision, like perfection CNC, but you still get the small batch feel. And like you don't get like if you look, I just did a overview, it hasn't posted yet on this Arius mini Arius. And when you have a knife like this, there's no blade play, there's no lock rock, there's no pivot lash, there's no movement here, there's no movement here, there's nothing here, there's no movement when closed here, there's no weird acoustic sounds. It clicks and clacks the way it should. It does all those things perfectly. That's the shit I'm looking for. Craig Brown, his knives. That's the category of knife, and that's pretty much what I like. That is what I look at in every knife. And it's why I'm so fucking nitpicky and complain about everything. Cause like that, I've experienced that. And then it's like, well, this has lash. It can fucking rattle when you do this. And it's like, sure, it doesn't affect the function, but it's there. Like it feels loosey goosey, like, and you're not going to get that perfection at $100 or $200 or whatever.
I don't know, man. I think here in 2024, like we should just have the expectation, even on something like $150 knife. Like my $150 knife shouldn't have detent lash. It shouldn't have lock rock. Like we're at a point where the competition is so steep. There's so many good knives that are being released at low price points. For example, this is the Kubi Titius, the titanium Titius. My God, the amount of awesomeness that this is. Like we're talking good blade centering, really, really accurate milling on the handle scales, single-sided captive pivot, perfect action. What's most impressive to me is that this is 14C in a world where it's completely acceptable to heat treat 14C to 59 HRC and no one will complain about it. This is cryo treated to 62 Rockwell. And these were on sale most of the year last year for under $100. And so like, what excuse is there? What excuse is there for a company to come out with a knife that costs $300 with pivot lash or lock rock or a bad detent? Like, I'm not gonna name names. Like we all know we're talking about the field duty, but like there's no excuse. There's no excuse to have bad QC when you've got knives like this killing it at what, $80-$100? There's no excuse.
There you go. So small batch CNC custom, we can call it, because there's hand working going into each one. So yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, what do you call them? Chapman Lake. I mean, what do they call them? Because that's what matters. What I want when I look and handle the is it called the CLK 2D or is it the 2D? Because like the CLK stands for Chapman Lake Knives, so I'm like, do I remove that part and just call it the 2D, or I don't know. Anyway, I want a mini one of these. I think a mini would really come together for me. Just because I'm not a big knife guy, first off. This is a bigger knife. It doesn't really carry or yeah, it doesn't carry like a big knife. Carries great, honestly. But I think a mini would be freaking awesome. But anyway.
All right.
Somebody asked them if they do OEM work, and they said we're game. So
yeah,
we should talk. Cool. We should talk because we've been trying to get a knife made in the U.S. for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And we've tried 2 different OEMs. One turned out to be fake and actually getting stuff from China. And one had their CNC guy leave, and apparently that just put a big dent in them. And I finally talked to Shank, and they're sending the other prototype to us. So I'm guessing that means, they're just clearing things up. Hopefully they cleared things up with REK. I don't know where that landed, but Chapman, if you guys want to do OEM work, and I would love to talk to you about that, because we've been trying to get a knife made here for a long time. And you guys seem like reliable, and like you have a good head on your shoulders. So like, yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, everybody. Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. So
what time is it? Midnight? Yeah.
Kev, thanks so much for having me on the live, brother.
Yeah, dude.
And yeah,
I appreciate you. It was good to have you on and not really yell at each other, but I think we agree that S30V is a super steel. So,
dude, honestly, I came in expecting to get roasted. I was like, this is gonna be awful. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, it was a lot of fun. We'll have to do this again. To some of you guys, I'll see you soon. To everyone else, I'll see you later. Have a great rest of your week, everybody.
All right. Later, man. Thank you. Cool. Thanks to Roll. Guys, go check out his channel if you haven't already. Great dude. Very fun conversationalist. We have a lot of good chats in a group chat we're in. Good debates. That's the thing. I should have brought it up while he was on, but him and I and plenty of other people, but not everybody, we can have a discussion, a debate. We can argue about steels and whatever, but that's all it is, right? Like we don't hate each other. We're not like bashing each other. We just have differing opinions. I don't know if you guys remember when that was okay, but at some point you were allowed to have the opposite opinion with. That's how I grew up. My family, that's what we do. We fucking mostly about sports. But we just debate about sports and yell at each other, and and it's all just, it's what it is. We love each other. It's not like we hate each other after. And I feel like that's our society is falling apart when it comes to that. CLK2D. All right, cool. I'm super uncreative in my name. That's all good, man. You make a good knife, so that's the important part. EOS does OEM work, plus they're fairly close to you, Kev, in New York. Interesting. Lefty should run for president of the knife industry. You tell the truth. Yeah, I don't think I would win that election. Gotta use your knives to be the president. Ask the Amish people to hand make some knives for you. I'm going to go talk to Brother Jeremiah over there, my neighbor. We're a machine shop. Most of what we do is medical work, and knives is a new venture, but we love it and would love to support other designers who want USA made. Okay. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, we would even be up for like a collaboration type thing. Like, I don't know. It'd just be cool to finally get something made here, and it's just not one of the skills we possess. We don't possess the skills to machine stuff. Like it's just not anything we've done. So that makes it harder, obviously, because there's some places. I think the best way to get a knife made here is to do the finishing work yourself, right? So like you can get the parts made. That's where you were talking about the machine assisted custom, the Max. That's as far as I understand, that's mostly like when somebody else makes you the parts and everything, and then you finish it, right? But you're doing everything. So like to me, that's like that's just small batch production or custom. It's one or the other, I guess. But who cares? It doesn't even matter. They're cool knives made in the US. That's important, you know? And they cut really well. I actually did cut with this knife. It'll be in the video. Chapman Lake's knives naming art fucking sucks. He's roasting you, bro. If we all agree on everything all the time, it would be boring. Yeah, that's how I feel. You know, all of my like close friends, you guys know, like that's what we do. We literally debate shit, argue shit. Like that's fun. And guess what? That's how I learn. That's how I learn new shit. So I don't know. Let's raid roll and comment. Lefty says tickle my balls. Yeah, no, I don't want to do the rating thing because I don't want to hurt somebody else's channel, like trying to help them. You know how shitty that would feel? So we'll just do a hashtag. We'll do it soon. I got the mash here. I'm sure they could do a frame lock. I assume. I do have a full CAD file and everything from the project we were gonna do. So that might be helpful. Would love a collab. All right. We'll talk. I'll hit you up about it. That'd be really cool, actually. I got $500 on a Chapman Lake made Divo anything. Hell yeah, man. All right. Everybody else wants it too, so there you go. Edgy. Yo, Shane, what up, dude? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, I have no idea what we are. Yeah, I know. I'm up here like trying not to piss you off and say the wrong thing, but I don't know either. I like the word CNC custom, and it makes no fucking sense. So, like, that's my go-to. It's a CNC small batch custom. Okay, how can it be CNC and custom? But they are, right? So that's what I'm going with. CNC custom. Is Sneck Super Lock mushy to you? Also a spring lock. So if you're talking about the Wii one, I've never handled a like actual Snecks, but the Wii Vision, yes. It's just when I say mushy, I mean mushy or soft. Like the D10 is non-existent basically because just the spring. And in that knife particularly, the spring's all the way at the bottom of the handle. And the problem, I tried it with Demcos, the stronger you go with the spring, yeah, it's a little harder to flick it, which maybe feels like a stronger detent, but it changes the whole dynamic of the action because that spring needs to compress and then expand, compress and expand. So when you're flicking it, right, it compresses and then you get past a certain point and it expands. Well, if you make that spring stronger and stronger, that just feels wrong. It just feels really weird. I did a whole series on that on the 80-20.5. Actually, Brian from Transparent Knives sent me springs, I think. Can't remember. I tried buying different springs. I was trying to find like the strongest or perfect spring for that knife. And nothing really made sense. The best thing I found was to take, I think that's what Brian told me, take a extra Demco spring and then just cut a piece of that off and then put that piece in with the full spring that's already in there. It'll fit in there together. And then you just get the same size spring, which is like the correct size and tension for it, but you just get a little more. And that did actually work, but you just have to put a little bit extra in. You make it too strong, it just feels wrong. Hashtag tickle my balls. Yeah, we'll do that. You guys want to get in on the giveaway? Let me. I'll start it now, so you guys can start putting the tickle my balls comment in there. Let's see. All right. So, hashtag, did I spell it right? Yeah. Tickle my balls. Somebody already entered. Oh, right. It was the one. Yeah. Now, can we do that the other way, please? There we go. I actually got this email today. I wanted to talk about this. I got this email today from YouTube, and it says they removed content. So it says, we want to let you know our team reviewed your content and we think it violates our spam, deceptive practices, and scams policy. We know you may not have realized this violation, so we're not applying a strike to your channel. However, we have removed the following content from YouTube. And it just says URL bluecreekknives.com/lefty10. So they went to my video and they removed that link from that video. Just from one video, they removed my Blue Creek link. And I'm like, what? Makes no sense. I mean, maybe it's because maybe their website's down now or something, or it got reported, but that's really weird. Yeah, so I meant to address this because somebody earlier asked, what would 70s camo carbon look like? And it actually exists. And it looks like what you would think, like a 70s, like grungy house. See if I can pull it up for you. See if their search function works. I feel like people's search functions just don't fucking work anymore. Camo. There we go. This is 70s. Honestly, I feel like they just renamed Sunset Camo. But yeah, it's got this like gold. It reminds me of like New York in the 70s, you know? Like think Taxi or something. I don't know. But no, I've never had it on a knife, and I don't think I ever will. So if we were all the same, who would we mock? Yeah, exactly. Does Millet make the James Brand Klein folder? Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I've never handled it or anything. Tried to get them to send me one, and they were like, nah. They just wanted to send me this shit, like their cheap Chinese shit that they overcharge for. So that reminds me, I need to remove their. I think I did actually remove them from my links and everything. I need to do that because we're definitely not on the same page, and I don't like having links for shit I'm not on the same page with. Let me see, is it in here, James Brand? I think I removed it a while ago, honestly. Yeah, it's not in there anymore. And I think ProTech made their button lock, which I was actually interested in, but I haven't gotten to handle one. It's a pain in the sack being Kevin's friend. Buy any lights this week? No. I'm trying to get a new Hanko, but I don't think I bought anything this week. No. I kind of ripped through all the stuff I could get. So now it's like, do I want to spend hours and days trying to hunt down a Sigma custom, or you know, a not a beam. Like I want one of those, but I don't want to spend days on Facebook hunting it down and messaging randos and shit. So I've kind of hit a wall with flashlights, I feel like. I'm hoping, you know, there's some new stuff coming soon. Charles has that 14500 I'm super excited about, but so now I've gotten some knives though. I got the mini Tempests. And that reminds me again, if anybody's interested in this flipper, I think I'm going to sell it. I bought both knowing I would, you know, I figured I would sell one of them. And I think I just prefer the front flipper Tempest. And then I have the mini Evo for a flipper. So it kind of works out. But I bought both of these this week. So if anybody's interested, let me know. I think I paid $425 for this. You know, I obviously wouldn't charge you that. And I did put skiffs in it. Otherwise, it's stock. I got it today. Action's good. The detent, you know, that's one of the reasons I want to let it go. It's good. Like it fires. But the Evo, I think it just has a lighter blade. So it just kind of rockets out of there more. And again, not that this is bad, but it's just a little different. And I think I just prefer the front flipper on this. So anyway, let me know. Let me know. I'll do $375. Basically brand new with skiffs. All right. Somebody buy that off me. Is that what Jack Wolf does? Finish the knives in the US? Nah. No, they get the knives delivered finished. I think they just oil them and QC check them. Same stuff we do. Check them, you know, make sure they're good, tweak any little things you need to tweak, that kind of stuff. Why don't you like pivot collars? Here's the carbon fiber Mash V 2.5, which if I haven't talked about it yet, since we're doing the giveaway, I'll talk about it, and then I'll pull it. I'll let, you know, there's 177 of you here. I'll let you guys who are trying to snag one of these get it. So we have a carbon fiber one. So it's weave carbon fiber, blue pivot collars and backspacer. I put this lynch clip on, but comes with a wire clip. 154 cm. This is a belt satin hollow grind on bearings. This one weighs 2.5 ounces. 2.5 ounces in the carbon fiber because there's no liner on the show side, and there's just that lock bar on the lock side. So you end up with 2.5 ounces. That's me squeezing. I can't flex it. I'm sure somebody could, like Hulk Hogan, but you know. So that one's the retail's $150 on these, and then again you can use a code, and it'll be $135 plus shipping. It'll be $140 out the door on these. So that's the carbon fiber. Then we have a bronze tie. So bronze titanium, black wash 154, black pivot collars and backspacer. And then we have one other one that's going to be available on our website, the flame titanium. So some people call it tiger stripe. I think that's gay, so I call it flame titanium, which I guess is actually gay. So shit. Tiger stripe. We got the tiger stripe titanium. And that has satin titanium collars and backspacer. Again, you have a belt satin hollow ground blade done by hand. And then black hardware on this one. So those 3 are available on our website. They're dropping next week, a week from today, Thursday, the 8th at 1 p.m. Eastern on our site. And then we have one dealer exclusive. This is from Blade Binge, also previously known as NAF Sale. They are, I guess they're technically a sponsor of the live stream too. So go check them out. See it right here scrolling under me. This one is just oil. This one's a black wash blade, black PVD, titanium with teal accents and black hardware. And these are dropping the day before. So these are dropping on the 7th at Blade Binge. And they have 50 of these. I don't know if they're selling all 50, on the drop, but they have 50 of these. And we have 100, not 100, but we ordered 100 of each of the other ones. So we'll probably drop like 80 or 85 of each of the 3 that we have. We'll keep some for shows. And then obviously I sent some review samples out. I have some myself. Colin has one. So it'll probably be closer to like 80 or 85 of those 3. All right. So let's do the giveaway. You guys all did your tickle my balls. We got 100 entries. I love it. I love it. All right. Here we go. Let's do the... There we go. And boom. Let's see who wins the mash. It's a carbon fiber version of the mash. Ed Harrison with the win. Ed with the win, baby. Hell yeah, Ed. Oh, I need to put one penis on top. There we go. Now it won't move. Ed Harrison, my man. All right. Hit me up via email if you can, Ed, or you could DM me and I'll, I just keep track of everything via email. So LeftyEDC88@gmail.com. And congrats, dude. Got yourself a carbon fiber Mash V2.5 a little early. CNC knives are absolutely still custom and are no easier to make than the handmade. Anyone who thinks you push a button and a knife pops out has no idea what they're talking about. You can say Shane is on the cutting edge of the knife industry. Chapman, do you make the medical stuff under the same name or is it a different? I mean, they're not calling it Chapman Lake Knives Medical Equipment. Chapman Lake Instrument is our medical side. Okay, so yeah, they kind of do actually. I take back my insult. Next time I get surgery, I'm asking what tools they have. Was it a paid promo video and you didn't state it was a paid promo video? That happened to me. What? No. Oh. The this thing. This is the video is titled "This is Hot Liquid Magma." Lefty Custom Chamois Unboxing. So this is a knife I bought and did an unboxing on. Has nothing to do with Blue Creek knives. I have no idea what that was about. I've never done a paid promotion. I never will either. I mean, I don't care that you did. I'm just saying I won't. I wore that shit in the 70s. Millet made the first mini areas. Sids. What? What are you talking about? Willis? No, Millet, as far as I understand, they don't really work with anybody. I guess James Brand maybe has some pool or I don't know. But I've handled some of their OEM stuff and I wouldn't want them to make it. I would definitely like Chapman to make it. I don't want Millet to make it. Do you own an MSR? MSR. Oh, flashlight? Yes, I have a DRV2 or whatever. DR4 V2 with UV secondaries. My buddy Steve Boro gifted it to me. You still into fidgets? Nah, I mean, I get sent the occasional fidget, but I don't buy them or anything anymore. I actually sold like 5 or 6 or 7 of my NJT coins the other day. Just trying to, clear them out a little bit. Which MASH version is the exclusive? I showed that. This one. And it drops the day before on the 7th. We figured, maybe they could get head start. I don't know. Have you tried any LEP lights? Yeah, I have the mini Cosmos here from CountyCom. I want to see if they'll send me the Reach, the bigger one Javon was telling me about. But yes, I have a video coming on this, but that's the only one I've tried so far. Check out this flashlight. I can't use that link. I don't. Is it a flashlight, dude? I really don't know. What am I doing? I'm not trusting fucking Stevie right now. Do I want to spend hours and days to hunt down a Sigma? Yes. All right, well, can you do it for me? Can you flip the fuller? Yeah, on the front flipper, it's a lot easier because the detent isn't as strong. It's still a good detent. Still clicks like that, but because it's a front flipper, it doesn't need to be stiff. Even though this isn't like the strongest feeling detent, it is relatively strong. But you can still flick it. I mean, I'm doing that with pretty minimal effort. It does seem like maybe they let the fuller stick up a little more on these than the previous, but I'm not positive. The drop point was always easier to flick. Trade you a PMP Titano? No. Yeah, they were $425. I bought the front flipper, same version. Nice. Yeah, I got both just because I wanted to experience the flipper. I don't know. I could keep it, I guess, but I'd rather sell it. I don't need to. I won't even carry the first one. Nice, dude. Well, why don't you buy the flipper? All right, come on. I want it, Kev. Mini Tempest standard flipper. All right, man. It's all you. DM me or email me. It's you. You got it, buddy. By the way, the clips feel way better. They seem to have more ramp and less tension. I don't know what it is, but they're great. Yes, you can reverse flick it. Sorry, I know I'm behind. I like pivot collars. Yeah, I really think. Here, I'll show you. Actually, I'll show you 2 examples. All right, so you guys tell me. You tell me what looks nicer to you. Maybe you'll have a different opinion than me. So, no pivot collar. No pivot collar. Pivot collar. Pivot collar. I think it looks way nicer. I think that it's having that larger size around the pivot just looks nicer. I think this looks kind of small. That was one of the things when we came out with the V2, we were like, we should have done collars. So that's why we added that. Just a nice little touch, I think. And then here's the two stouts. Doesn't necessarily get bigger, but having that pop of color and the, I don't know. I like pivot collars. Man, these are fucking good, dude. OG right here. There's some 80s. Let's see. What happened? My money doesn't match my knife addiction right now. Yeah, that sucks sometimes, man. Oh wow, I'm that far behind. What did he say? Got canceled? What got canceled? Gay cancel. I'm trying to bring it back, man. I'm trying to bring gay back. Man, it's in my vocabulary. Like I grew up calling things gay. It's not, I'm not hating on anybody. My email as a kid was timsgay@hotmail.com because that's my brother's name, Tim. All right, this is how it goes. It's okay to be gay, Kev. New year, new you. Oh, man. I just want to take it apart. Take what apart? I thought we couldn't say gay even if it's a retarded concept. Yeah, man. We're trying to bring gay and retarded back, all right? I know not everybody's going to be into it. Gay jokes aren't funny. Come on, guys. You win the night, buddy. You win, buddy. Holy shit. Is there a code for Blade Binge? For sure, the variant. I don't have one. I don't think they do. I think they wanted to maybe do free shipping or something. You could ask them, though. Maybe they could give you one. I don't know. And I only have this one for marketing, so I can't sell you one. But $150, still a good price. It just dropped. What dropped? They're dropping right now. Oh. Is that when I dropped the knife on the... Got it. Got it. Wow, you guys are so funny. All right, let's see. I'm trying to catch up a little. It was indeed a fleshlight. Yeah, I knew. I know Stevie better than you think. How did he know? It's fucking Stevie, dude. What am I, an idiot? Pivot collar. Pivot. You got to hit up Carbonize, man. What does it look like with blood all over it? Yes, the Buzz hardware is titanium. Except the clip. That's a wire clip. Those are steel. Never seen a titanium wire clip. Can I blade swap the MASH V2 and 2.5? I believe you can, sir. I took both apart today, tried the backspacer. That worked. Pivot collars obviously are not going to work because this is doesn't have collars, so it's not going to fit. I think the pivot would though. But yeah, it should be the same internal. You should be able to just blade swap it, as far as I understand. Collars look fancy Nancy. Yeah, but if you don't like that, you could just do matching colors. Like on the bronze, you have black with black. Does that look, I mean, barely looks like a collar. It just looks like a nice large pivot. Looks good with collars. Don't do a highly contrasting pivot collar. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like pivot collars even though we don't use them. No, you can't do everything you like. It's kind of the same thing. I feel that way sometimes. I hope you ordered extra carbon fiber. No, we got what we got, man. We'll order more again if we need to. We wanted to be a little careful because there's already 700 mash out there. And then this run we ordered ourselves, so that this didn't go through Blue Creek or a dealer. So we paid the full, ourselves. We like to do those dealer exclusives like the Growler V2 and the Pony and everything, because then we can split the cost. It offsets stuff. They QC and everything. We don't have to take on all that extra logistical stuff. Because again, we have full-time jobs and shit. If we were full-time, then sure, we would just order more and we would check them all ourselves and it would be easier. But it's also good for exposure because dealers, they have a wider reach than we do. But we wanted to do some stuff direct on our site too, because we obviously make a little more doing it that way, which lets us order more shit in the future. Right now, we're like really tapped out because we have 4 projects finish at once, and we had to pay for all of them at once, and we haven't sold any of them yet. So we're stretched out a little bit. But hopefully this drop, and then we'll have the Stout V2s will ship. We'll do something with those in the near future and whatnot. But fun stuff. I didn't expect them all to hit at once. And luckily I did the math and made sure we had enough money for all of them in case they did hit at once, which they did. So the clips shipped to us. So the clips are in the air. Colin is finishing up QC. Once he gets the clips, he'll obviously check them, but then he can put one in with every knife he ships and start getting those pre-orders out. So hopefully, next week or the week after, they should be shipping. Just depends on when we get the clips. And then, he just has to go through and ship them. I may be retarded, but you still okay. Oh man, you guys are bringing it back. Did you hear Jim Skelton called your new cleaning cloth a cum rag? Yeah, it's not a new one. We've had it for a while. I should have sent him a red one. Should have sent him a red one. Jim's a good guy, man. I love Jim. Some of us never stop saying it. Yeah, you never stop saying it. You stop saying it in public, though. I never stopped saying it either, but you know what I mean. Man, you guys are on fire tonight. I was gonna tell a gay joke, but fuck it. Oh shit. I don't know what you mean by order extra carbon fiber models. Like we have some to sell. So yeah. But we didn't order like more of those than other stuff. And we don't have like extra more coming. I don't know what you mean. But yeah, we'll have like 80 of those drop next week. Yes, I agree. 100%. He's a bitch. A big bitch. A pickle loving bitch. Man, you guys are killing it. Knife of the year, the weetard. Shit. Look at Stevie's comeback. Do me a favor, eat shit. I love pickles. Stevie, I need some beard oil, man. I'm starting to get a real beard. Starting to get a real beard. Is there a point where I should just like trim this down so it doesn't like puff out? Like I want that to grow, right? I don't want that. I don't want an afro face. I want a beard. Oh, you guys have devolved into nonsense. I'm not the 15-year-old. These guys are. I'm just reading the nonsense. And I'm loving it, but uh the weetard and the wiener. Oh shit. Beard oil then balm? Ah, man, I don't know. Let it ride? Yeah, I just mean like the sides. I just feel like they're gonna start puffing out a little bit. Like, at what point do I get the cool one where I can put a little Viking ponytail in it? Like, how long does that take? Years? Does that take years? Damn it! I started this in November. I should already have a Viking beard. Yeah, go over to EDC Roundtable, get the beard care from Stevie. Use my code Lefty10 to get 10% off, and you probably get some pickles while you're at it. They probably send some pickles in that package because he loves pickles. Pickles, 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 pickles. Stevie loves pickles, 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 pickles. You might as well change your logo, dude. Instead of aliens and mushrooms, just pickles, pickles, pickles. Your favorite thing in the world, buddy. Look at this guy hawking his own code. No. Lefty 10. Come on. Stevie 10 saves you 10%. Get out of here. Get out of here. But with Stevie's 10, you get 10% and pickles. So you might as well do that. Do that one. Oh, man. I need to win a bet against Javon so I can get some more beard conditioner. You owe me, man. I won that bet the other day. Get a perm. All right. I think we've reached our limit here. Guys, go buy some stuff. Use my code Lefty10. He won't cancel your order. Well, now he will because I just challenged him, but he won't. He won't. Unless he recognizes the name, he won't. And if he does, he'll create a new one. I think LeftyEDC is the one on our site for 10%, but I would recommend you use somebody else's code because then they get commission. I don't get commission on my own code on my company. I don't know if Stevie has a link for Divo, but Javon does. You can do Javon 10. A bunch of guys have links and codes, and then they get a little commission. So I recommend you help them out because I'm not a dick like Stevie. And I won't cancel your order either. but you won't get pickles. So there's a downside. Yeah. All right. I refuse to use a discount code on friends' small business. I don't know. I want you guys to use the code. I mean, I expect you to use the code. And it helps another buddy because they get commission. So it's kind of a win-win. You get a discount, they get commission, we get your order. Win-win-win. Sure, we don't get all the money, but I don't care. Yeah, guys, go check out Rob's Nerdy Knives. We're not going to rate them because, well, you got to rewind the live to hear all about that, but go check them out. Go subscribe. Hey, Stevie, I got a novel idea for you. If you want a link, just ask, buddy. Just ask. I'll hook you up. I think Maddie has one. Does he? Does Maddie have one? I'll get you a link and a code. Just ask, baby. Just ask. No, you could buy the flipper, though. But I think Paul wanted it. Yeah, code pickles. Ah, good idea. I swear you have a link, dude. I swear you asked me for one, and I gave you one. But if you want one, hit me up. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do is that. Look, Stevie's too cool. He's too cool to ask for a link. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. Go check out my poll. Go check out my poll about Stevie loving pickles. And go in there and leave a comment so Stevie can come back at you. All right. You were serious. All right. Okay. It's you, man. It's you. I'll hit you up. Stevie sucks. Is that your code? Yeah, we're doing that. Stevie sucks to get 10% off a Divo. Oh, shit. Is that a stripper pole? Where? What do you mean? Where would there be a stripper pole? The shelf? I wish I had a stripper pole in here. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all of you. Even Stevie. I love you, buddy. And your pickles. I don't have any good pickle jokes, though, man. I can't think of any good pickle jokes. So I just say, he loved pickles. He loved pickles. And I'm funny. Yeah. Thanks for coming out, guys. Appreciate it. Definitely go check out RollShambo. Good dude. Good content. He actually edits and shit and has like thoughtful, ideas for videos. He doesn't just turn a camera on and talk to a desk. And yeah, I think I'm on Saturday with Javon. So stay tuned for that. And I love you guys. Thanks for coming out. Hope you guys have a great night. It's Friday, and I'll catch you later. Peace.